Man, that's some good pizza rolls.
That fucking teacher last time was so fucking hot. He was also super Islamic, and I loved him so much.
All right, class. All right, everybody, settle down. It's time to get organized. Okay.
Boom.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm here. Hang on, I gotta get set up.
Why is our new teacher so gay?
Well, yeah.
No talking. There's no talking, class.
Why did the school hire a Christian?
I like the glasses.
We're all ready. Okay, everyone's ready. Okay, here we go. Everyone, thank you for coming to Kingdom Hearts 101. Now, I know that at PCP University, this is a mandatory class, but I want to assure you that there's a lot of rich content that will be valuable throughout your life here. So, don't just fuck around in class. You're going to want to pay attention. This is all going to be on the test.
Hey, Devu, want to have sex while the teacher's talking?
That's it.
No!
That's a demerit. This ground rules. Ground rules are as they were before.
I can't be seen with people with demerits.
All right, everybody. There's no talking anymore unless you raise your hand. You can say anything you want if you raise your hand, but that's the rule. No talking unless it's up there. Okay, so here we go. Oh, and by the way, this is an interactive class. I want you to raise your hands. Yes, Ben saying.
That fucking cat part of this class.
I hate that cat. Why didn't we deal with him ahead of time? Whatever. Munchie.
How much dick do you suck, bro?
That's another demerit. Strike 3 and you're out of here. Devu.
The cat's female. You're being offensive to the cat community.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. Okay, now as I was saying, this is an interactive class, so just so everyone knows, we're to keep everyone engaged. We're gonna play a little game. So when I say "How we feeling?" everyone's gonna say "Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go." So let's give that a test, okay?
What?
How we feeling? Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go. Excellent. Okay. You already got +1s across the board. Okay, everyone. No talking! All right, the lecture is starting now. No more talking. Here we go. Okay, so everyone, we got to go back in time all the way to 2001 is when our lecture begins. When
I wasn't born in 2001.
no talking until you raise your hand.
Get fucked, man.
Now, there's a little legend that tells about how the Kingdom Hearts idea was formed. As everybody probably knows, Kingdom Hearts is a weirdo fusion between the world of Disney and the world of Squaresoft, specifically Final Fantasy. And these things are very different. A lot of people have speculated or have said that that's a very odd combination. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But it somehow has worked out and has been fairly popular over the years. And the legend is that the Disney and Square guys shared the same building in Tokyo or someplace out there in the east, and they got on an elevator at the same time, and one of them just happened to mention, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if Final Fantasy and Disney did a game together? And the rest just kind of magicked its way into reality. Okay, so that brings us to, a couple years later, Kingdom Hearts 1. It was released for the PlayStation 2. We're going to go over the lore kind of as we go through all the games, but the tangible details you need to know about Kingdom Hearts 1 are that that's where the major key foundations of the series were established. So you've got Sora as the main character. He's the chosen hero of the Keyblade. Hearts and Heartless are established. We'll go into what those exactly are later on in this section of the lecture. And all our main heroes are introduced. Sora, his friend Kairi, Riku, the eternal rival, and Ansem was the villain of that game, along with the Heartless that he controlled. Okay, let's just talk about what a Heartless is right now before we go on. A Heartless is actually the opposite of what it sounds like, because in the Kingdom Hearts universe, you see a person is made up of a combination of what we would normally think of as a person, the soul and the body, but there's kind of a redundancy in the Kingdom Hearts universe, which is the heart. The heart is a separate essence of your being that is not your soul. It's totally different, has nothing to do with it, but it has some kind of weird link to emotions. Without hearts, you can't really have real emotions. You can fake it, but you can't have it. Munchie, what's up?
Is there a reason I don't feel anything anymore because I don't have a heart?
It's quite possible. Interestingly, there is an exception to what I'm going to get into a little bit later about if you lose your heart, you would normally turn into a nobody, but if you have no darkness in your heart at all, then you don't turn into a nobody. So that can explain you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so So as I was saying, a person is composed in Kingdom Hearts of a soul, heart, and body. And a Heartless is the main antagonist of the game. And when a person their heart is corrupted by darkness, their heart specifically becomes a Heartless. So a Heartless is in fact the heart, just changed. It is not heartless. Yes, Ben.
The heart.
The heart. My Kokoro.
Shoutouts to Bleach, my best
Shoutouts to
friend.
Tite Kubo. Tight Kubo, whatever. Devu.
I noticed that the darkness insignia there, on top of it, what looks to be a infinity symbol. Is there something with infinity darkness?
There's a reason for that, because every heart in Kingdom Hearts is composed of both darkness and light. So you see, what happens is, when the darkness gets out of balance in a heart, when there's too much darkness, that's when a heart turns into a Heartless and goes, full evil monster man. Up to that point, every single heart in the Kingdom Hearts universe is composed of both darkness and light, even good guys and even bad guys, with a few small exceptions that we will talk about, like I mentioned with Munchie. Ben.
So do the Heartless have light in them at all?
The Heartless have absolutely no light, because they are pure darkness beings. And there are a couple of different types of Heartless. There are what's called pure blood Heartless, which are they kind of come out of the darkness of the universe. And then there are, insignia Heartless, which are what you see throughout the game most of the time. They're the ones with the iconic Heartless logo there. And all of those have been manufactured from the hearts of men. Or not even necessarily men, because that's another thing in Kingdom Hearts. Everything has a heart, kind of like the Native American ideal. People have hearts, animals have hearts, worlds have hearts. The entire universe, incidentally, let's cover this real quick. The entire universe, or multiverse of Kingdom Hearts, has a heart, and that is basically what's known as Kingdom Hearts. So you can put that one aside. It takes about 5 games to explain that, but eventually that's what it turns out to be. So returning to Kingdom Hearts 1. In Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora obtains the Keyblade, which is a weapon that can unlock any lock and is specifically super effective against the Heartless. Ben.
Sorry to backtrack, but I have a cosmological question.
Please, I love them.
So the Heartless is formed when the heart separates from the body and is consumed by darkness.
Yes, that's correct.
So the Nobody is the result of the remaining body and soul.
We'll get into Nobodies a little bit later in Kingdom Hearts 2, but
I'll ask that.
Yeah, we're adding layers when we get to that. Give and take. I mean, hypocrites.
So the heart has to leave the body for it to become heartless?
That is
Or
true.
can someone just have a heart that is entirely dark?
Well, you see, when the heart kind of gets overly corrupted by darkness, it leaves the body through that process of turning into a Heartless. When you see it in the game, it kind of looks like the whole person is being transformed into a Heartless, and in fact, that's kind of what was implied in Kingdom Hearts 1, but we kind of brush that aside as we move along through the series as an excuse for Nobodies to exist and other things. That's the main theme I want to present here is right here. Nomura is a literal god. That's the main key point to be taken away from this lecture. He can do anything he wants. Time and space will not confine this man, nor do the laws of causality.
Who is Nomura?
Tetsuya Nomura, excellent question. But demerit for not raising your hand.
I had to get you before you started the next sentence.
Do you want another one, buddy? You want another one? All right.
Okay.
Tetsuya Nomura is the director of the Kingdom Hearts franchise. He is it is his brainchild. He's the one who designed Sora. He came up with the concept of the game, as far as I know, and I think he had a large part to play in at least the game design of the first game in terms of combat, and that would go on to shape the way the rest of the series has gone on. He is not solely responsible for everything to do with the game, but he is the one who's he's the main guy. He's the main guy. When you think Kingdom Hearts, Tetsuya Nomura is the guy. And you will know him famously for being first character designer or monster designer for Final Fantasy V, onto character designer for specifically Setzer in 6, as well as other characters, other monster designs, and then 7, 8, 9, well actually not 9, but onward, the Final Fantasy character designer. Munchie.
Did he design any Pokemon?
No, but he has redesigned Batman.
Oh, cool.
Yep. It's much edgier. It's very interesting to see the way his Batman designs just look like they're Kingdom Hearts characters. It's real cool. Makes sense. Digi.
Nomura's the fashion guy, right?
Nomura is indeed the fashion guy.
Responsible for making Lightning wear Louis Vuitton and shit and all that.
Actually, no. The one responsible for, interestingly enough, no. That is actually Toriyama, who has a bizarre, bordering on fetishistic fixation with the character of Lightning Farron from Final Fantasy XIII, who was the director of 13 and the whole 13 saga. Ben.
Did Nomura do World Ends With You?
He certainly did. That's another of his projects that he loves, and a lot of people wanted to make another one of, but no luck so far. But that actually does get, interestingly, The World Ends With You does see a revival way down here in Kingdom Hearts, where is it? Dream Drop Distance. Traverse Town, which is one of the worlds you visit, and we'll talk about the world structure of Kingdom Hearts in a bit. One of the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 1 was Traverse Town. When you visit it again, it's actually the Dream form, which is a whole other thing we'll have to get into, Dream Worlds. They visit the Dream World of Traverse Town in Dream Drop Distance for the 3DS. And in that town, all of a sudden, Neku Sakuraba and the other characters from World Ends With You are there, and you hang out with them, and they're your best friends, and it's a whole cool thing.
Amazing.
It is amazing. But they get voice actors, and they had them in the original game too, but it was really cool. It's really cool. So Nomura is not a guy to shy away from sticking his properties into other things. You know, he's all about that. Okay, so where were we? Let's see. So Kingdom Hearts 1, let's just go over the lore real quick. Heartless. And you know what the thing is? Because there are so many fucking retcons, you can't do this in chronological order. If you're trying to make any sense of it, you have to do it in release order and describe where things get twisted if you want anything to make any kind of sense. So in Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora and his buddies live on Destiny Islands, which is a world in the multiverse, and they dream of leaving that world because they feel confined. It's a very teenage angsty series, and they just want freedom. You know, they wanna say fuck homework and say yes to adventure, like any real American would. And so they have a plan to leave. Doesn't work out. In essence, there is a plot by this guy called Ansem Seeker of Darkness, or just Ansem in that game, who's going around turning worlds to darkness because he just loves darkness. He's just really into darkness in that game, and there's no further lore beyond it than that. And he's the one who's responsible for all the activities in Kingdom Hearts 1, and all the Heartless that run amok. So at the beginning of that game, their world gets corrupted by darkness, and Sora, Riku, and Kairi, interestingly, the only characters who anyone gives a shit about from that world, even though Selphie from Final Fantasy VIII, Tidus, and Wakka from 10 are there too, never addressed, never mentioned that they've been thrown into darkness. They only care. Sora only ever talks about Riku. Riku only ever talks about Kairi, and Sora, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Even though Sora's mom is in the beginning of that game. Doesn't matter. We're getting into too nitty-gritty stuff. So their world is destroyed. Sora gets the Keyblade and is tasked to go save the world from darkness by Donald Duck and Goofy, just Goofy. And he meets them who have been assigned to find the key by King Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is king of Disney Castle, I believe is the name of the world. And yeah, believe it, buddy. You better believe it. And he has gone out on his own quest to try to save the worlds. Mickey actually has his own Keyblade. In Kingdom Hearts 1, there are exactly 2.5 Keyblades. Mickey has the one from the Realm of Darkness, which is just another world that you see very little of in Kingdom Hearts 1. Sora has the Keyblade of the Realm of Light, so it's just granted to him by the universe because he's the chosen one. And then, later on in the game, due to some shenanigans, Riku is able to forge his own Keyblade from 6 out of 7 Hearts of Pure Light, which has the unique ability to unlock hearts. And that has ramifications all over the fucking place. So we'll get to that later too. Okay, question? Ben?
Yeah, question.
Yeah.
How many of us have played Kingdom Hearts?
Excellent question. Who's played these games?
I have.
You played Kingdom Hearts 1?
I played
Yeah.
75% of Kingdom Hearts. No, probably more. I got to the
Okay.
final Riku battle and I couldn't beat him. I gave up.
In Hollow Bastion?
The last time you fight him. At
That's
the end.
about 75% through, I guess. Maybe a little more. Okay.
I've played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
So 1, 2, 3 of us.
Oh, I
of the
played
class.
4 hours of 2. It was dog shit, so I stopped.
That's it! Get the fuck out of my class! That's 10 demerits! No one is allowed to criticize the opening of Kingdom Hearts 2, okay? Let's just get that out of the way right now. Okay. So in Kingdom Hearts 1, just to wrap that up, you adventure with Donald and Goofy. You travel from world to world. Important thing to know about the world of Kingdom Hearts. This changes a little bit from game to game, but you are in fact a interdimensional traveler, or between universe traveler. It's kind of like, anybody ever played D&D or Magic the Gathering? You know how there are different planes? And each plane is sort of its own universe or world, as it's called in Kingdom Hearts. These guys are they're planeswalkers basically, and they have a thing called a gummy ship, which allows them just to travel between worlds. And specifically in Kingdom Hearts 1, it's a real important thing that they're not supposed to interfere in the activities of the individual worlds. Did you?
Okay, is there a difference in this context between worlds, planets, and universes?
They're all kind of the same thing.
Okay, so these are basically alternate universes that they're going between.
Yeah. Okay. Like one world is just in Kingdom Hearts 1, Halloween Town, and which is interesting because Halloween Town actually sort of has parallel universes in itself of like Christmas Town.
Too deep.
But those are all contained within the Halloween Town world as you visit it on the world map. Munchie.
Is there Aladdin?
Aladdin is in
Aladdin.
every game. Every fucking game. You go to
Fucking
Aladdin, you go to
sick,
Agrabah, you
bro.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Awesome.
So, okay. So, they get to the end of the game. What they do in Kingdom Hearts 1 is they seal keyholes. Because the big problem in Kingdom Hearts 1 is that Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, through his evil research into the heart, and he's a darkness boy, when he was researching hearts, he found that the core of every heart was pure darkness. This is what he scientifically deduced. And as he was doing that research, he was kind of looking into the depths of hearts and found the Heartless just kind of burst out. And that's where the pure blood Heartless came from. And then from his subsequent experiments is how everything got out of control and all the worlds were consumed by Heartless.
So
Hypocrite.
is he himself heartless or not?
It's a little bit ambiguous in Kingdom Hearts 1. In Kingdom Hearts 1, he does have the logo here of a Heartless, but it's never really addressed in that game if he's a Heartless or not. In later games, yes, he is in fact a Heartless, but depending on how you want to look at it, if you were just playing that one game, up to debate. But you could just think, yes, he is in fact a Heartless, as we found out later. So what they're doing is they're going around, they're sealing keyholes, which is a protection mechanism to prevent interdimensional travel. Because remember, interdimensional travel is a really taboo thing that you're not supposed to do. And in fact, King Triton of Atlantica from Little Mermaid fame is particularly vigilant about you are an interdimensional traveler, you're not supposed to be doing this, you got to get out of here. This is unacceptable. You can't be, helping my daughter, go to prom or whatever the fuck he was doing with her. Sora does a lot of fucking around, incidentally, on his quest to, his main motivation is to find Riku and Kairi, and all the other stuff is incidental. Did you?
Okay, what exactly happened to Riku and Kairi?
Good question. Okay, so a lot of things happen that you find out later on in the series, not even in this one game, but at the time that Destiny Islands was consumed by darkness, Sora was trying to find Riku and Kairi. Sora sees Riku, and Riku is sort of consumed by blackness, by darkness, and just disappears. We don't know what happened to him at that point. Turns out, he, just like Sora, was dropped off in Traverse Town, which is sort of an interdimensional dumping ground world, where everybody whose world is destroyed ends up in Traverse Town. Kairi, similar. She may or may not have ended up in either Neverland, where Peter Pan is from, or also in Traverse Town, and was picked up by the bad guys, because the bad guys get a hold of her body and help Riku and Sora. They puppet him along to do various stuff. But Kairi specifically has had some bad shit happen to her. Her heart was in fact consumed by darkness at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1, and she is sort of in a weird catatonic state when you find her body, when Riku finds her body later in the game. And a lot of it has to do with trying to see what you can do to help her out with that shit. And finding out why it is that she didn't turn into a Heartless like everybody else does, which is, another big mystery that you find out in Kingdom Hearts 1. So, and by the way, the villains that you deal with as you're on your quest to seal the keyholes to protect the worlds from the Heartless invasion, they are guarded by Disney villains, basically, who have all formed a cadre, or an Illuminati group of interdimensional oligarchs, or whatever, that are... They are just working with the Heartless to whatever particular goal they're trying to accomplish. Oogie Boogie wants to fucking rule Halloween Town and spook everyone real hardcore. Jafar wants to marry Jasmine and become Sultan.
Sick.
Things like that. It is pretty sick, bro. But don't talk. What, Ben?
Did the two declare in exactly those words their intentions and then shake hands, sealing the deal?
There's a little bit of inference going on.
Did Jafar say, "I'll help you spook them all"? And
It's implied. They kind of shit talk each other a little bit. You only see them together a couple times.
specifically Jafar and Oogie Boogie.
Well, at the beginning of the game, they're all sort of in a room together, kind of just conspiring and twirling their mustaches about, there's this boy, he found one of the keyholes, he's being a real bitch in our
I have
bonnet.
to make sure he stays a virgin in the town of Quickville, Virginia.
That's right. Tom?
So the Disney villains, they're allied with the Heartless, but they're not Heartless themselves.
That's correct. You see, people with strong darkness in their hearts do have an ability to control Heartless, who are mindless killing machines. But you can get, when you start working with darkness, this is a constant theme throughout Kingdom Hearts. When you start messing with darkness, it can just overtake you, because you got to keep that little bit of light in yourself, or you'll just lose that being a person. Your heart will just become heartless, and you'll be an evil killing machine. You got to watch out for that. Right. Okay. So that's basically the main plot. Digi.
So Elliot Rogers, a Heartless.
His heart definitely. Well, there are.
He was consumed by darkness, and then he went on a killing spree.
There have been some documented cases of sort of pre-Heartless consumed by darkness. I believe that he would have become a Heartless if he hadn't killed himself, and if there's a little sweet spot there where you just are full darkness, but you don't actually turn into a Heartless. So maybe we'll never know. We'll never know. I wish we could bring the man back and ask him himself. Okay, so let's get to the end of this one. We're just establishing a lot of stuff here. So it turns out, as you keep going, you eventually find that Riku has... Childhood jealousy is a big theme of Kingdom Hearts 1, which is why I love it so much, because I'm a child and I'm a very jealous person. But Sora, at the beginning of the game, has an intense rivalry with Riku, and they both have a strong affection for Kairi. And this is a big thing at the very start of the game. And so as you're going along, Riku sort of gets really jealous that Sora has started to travel with Donald and Goofy. And Sora and Donald and Goofy are they're the three main boys of Kingdom Hearts, that you're always with them. And so he's real jealous of that he feels abandoned or, whatever. He thinks Kairi likes Sora more. It's a big fucking emotional thing. So he teams up with Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, who's another big villain in Kingdom Hearts, who promises him superpowers that Sora will never have because you have a real affinity for darkness, Riku, and you'll be really good at it, and I have Kairi's body, and I'll give that to you as well. So she also had Kairi's body, so that's cool. And so eventually, you meet up with Riku. Sora finally catches up with him. He has Kairi's body. They don't know why she's in this catatonic state. Riku, you see him a couple times throughout the game just being a brat. But by the end, he is just fully opposed to Sora, hates him, thinks he's a big bad man because Maleficent told him so, and is just willing to fight you. And it's at this point of the game, when you get to Hollow Bastion, which is sort of the home, this is a Final Fantasy Disney crossover. All the Disney characters, for the most part, are all from one world, as opposed to the Disney guys who each get their own world. They're all from Hollow Bastion.
You said Disney twice, so which one?
Oh, I'm sorry. All the Final Fantasy characters get one world, and that is Hollow Bastion.
Okay.
There you go. Everything else, all the other Disney characters get their own worlds.
Even the ones that were on Destiny Island, like Selphie and Waka?
2 worlds.
Okay.
Wait, Twilight Town, 3 worlds. Okay, there you go. 3 worlds. Very few worlds compared to the Disney guys. They're mostly from Hollow Bastion, though. But anyway, so at this point, there's a bombshell dropped. Bombshell alert. How we feeling?
What?
Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go.
Excellent. So bombshell.
Hold me.
Whatever lies beyond this morning is a little later on.
Okay, stop. We continue our story with we get to Hollow Bastion for the first time. Sora sees Riku there. The tension has been building between the two the whole time. Finally, bombshell drops.
Regardless of warning.
The future doesn't scare me at all.
Nothing's like before.
All right, demerits all around. Demerits all around.
I was
I
so
came to
proud that I
class
didn't
late.
get the demerits on it.
All right, everybody, shut up. Sit down and shut up. Let's get back to business. Okay, so at this point, right? Okay, bombshell, right? Bombshell's being dropped. Turns out Sora is not the chosen man of the Keyblade. He's not the chosen one. Turns out Riku was the chosen one of the Keyblade all along. And what happened was the jealousy in Riku's heart back when the world was being consumed by darkness on Destiny Islands was just so intense at that moment that when Riku's being consumed by darkness as the world's dying, he's reaching out. Sora's reaching out to Riku to try to save him. And in that moment, the Keyblade senses more light. Like the Keyblade, because it's the universe sort of making a decision, senses more light in Sora, just some fuckboy, than in Riku, who's being evil right now. And it just jumps. It just jumps to Sora, and Sora becomes the Keyblade's chosen one until now. And now at this point, the Keyblade, now that Riku is asserting his ownership of the Keyblade, he just, and he steals the Keyblade. Because that's the thing. Anyone who tries to take the Keyblade, when the wielder tries to take it back, they can just by will just kind of pull it back. Ben.
What exactly is the purpose of the Keyblade?
The Keyblade is a weapon, in Kingdom Hearts 1, the Keyblade is a weapon of light created by the universe to fight against the forces of the Heartless, which are a cancer on the universe, the multiverse. Ben.
Even the one Mickey has that's from the World of Darkness?
Even the World of Darkness has a vested, like in Final Fantasy III, the World of Darkness also has a vested interest in balancing between light and dark. So it too, it exerts its will to protect that balance by giving Mickey a Keyblade as well, which is pretty cool and gets fucked over later. But anyway, Jeff, what's up?
What about how Sora is like soul predestined to own a Keyblade because of reincarnation?
Well, that comes into play around this area right here.
We're not even anywhere
We're not even
close to
that. Yeah, it's just you have to take each of these piecemeal, but we'll get to that. Good question though, because that is very relevant. So the short version of this is Riku steals back the Keyblade. There's a big emotional thing where Goofy and Donald have to decide if they're going to do as the King Mickey commanded, follow the key, or stick with Sora, and they choose Sora. Friendship, yay! And because they chose Sora, he's feeling real good about himself, feeling lots of friendship. That moment allows his heart to be the stronger between him and Riku, and he takes back the Keyblade, and he never loses that motherfucker ever again. So now the Keyblade is just like, I guess Sora's actually cooler, so I'll just be with him for now. So, good job, universe. I mean, it made an arbitrary decision to begin with, so I don't really blame it for changing its mind, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. It's cool. Jeff.
Why did the universe decide that a whiny shit baby like Riku was the best person for the Keyblade in the first place?
Because he had a strong heart. Because he's really good at stuff. That's the real answer.
Stuff.
He loves stuff. He really does.
Was it kind of like in Captain America, how the general's like, we gotta give the super serum to this big tough mean guy, but then
He didn't
Captain
have that
America
heart.
threw himself on that grenade, and he was like, no, we gotta give it to this cool little guy.
Actually, no. In the Kingdom Hearts universe, the big strong guy is the one who gets the Keyblade, and the other guy is Sora, who steals it later by trickery and chicanery and whatnot.
All right.
And bullshit power of friendship stuff. I don't know, whatever. It's cool. So anyway, at this point, Riku's possessed by the forces of darkness and evil, and basically at this point, we find out that all those Disney villains who are puppeting all the strings are actually themselves puppets of Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. So he is now revealed, but he's revealed in a funny way. He's possessing Riku's body. So at this point, it kind of calls into question how many of the events of all of Kingdom Hearts 1 that Riku did were in fact his own will or Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. Yes. So you can use your imagination on that. Digi.
Is there a reason for the insistence on Ansem, Seeker of Darkness?
You're going to want to refer to this everyone is Xehanort chart for that. We'll get to that a little bit later. I mean, I know it...
Old Xehanort.
We'll get to that.
Apprentice Xehanort. Ansem, SOD. Riku.
All right, enough talking.
Riku, young Xehanort.
There's an excellent reason why I'm so insistent on that name, because there's a lot to keep track of here. Okay. So basically, Sora he has the final big clash with Riku happens now, and Riku is fully possessed by Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and now we have learned the big plot that Ansem was trying to achieve all along. He wants to access the heart of all worlds and turn it to darkness. Kingdom Hearts, the heart of everything, which will fuck up the whole universe, the whole multiverse, make it all darkness and shit. And so, in order to gain access to it, what you need is, there is a universal constant, a multiversal constant in Kingdom Hearts, which is the 7 Princesses of Light. And the 7 Princesses of Light are 7 individuals with a heart that contains no darkness. None whatsoever. So remember how I said before, every heart has to have light and darkness or it'll get out of balance and get fucked up. These ones are unique exceptions to that rule. And so there a lot of our Disney princesses, Alice, Snow White, guys like that, Jasmine. But the other one is Kairi. Kairi is also a Princess of Light.
Alice from Alice in Wonderland, she has a pure heart.
Yeah, she's not really a princess most of the time, but
all
yes,
she did
she
was
is
like
one.
fuck off from her chores and go to sleep for a day.
She's a little girl with just a curious heart who loves, I don't know, ask Nomura. I didn't make this shit up. Yeah, but she's a princess of heart, it's true. But more importantly, Kairi is one. Munchie.
Dude, Jasmine's so hot.
Agreed. Agreed. Press one for Jasmine. Okay, so we've learned the origins of what's going on. 7 Princesses of Light. You see, what you can do there's a unique thing that you can do if you have all 7 hearts together. You can make something called the Keyblade of People's Hearts. And that is a key. Yeah,
Is that really its name, Professor?
That's correct.
That bullshit name.
Well,
they went with that.
They just call it like the Keyblade. It's really, they call everything the Keyblade, even though there's like 5, even in Kingdom Hearts 1. Well, there's 3. Digi.
Yeah, like I was wondering about that because there's the key. There's only one Keyblade, but
Incorrect.
you change it. Like I mean, I remember playing with like 20 of them in that first game.
No, those are keychains.
Don't speak at it to raise your hand, but yes. You see, Sora has one Keyblade, and if you notice on that fancy little Keyblade, he's got there's a keychain that dangles down. What he's actually replacing is the keychain, which is it's kind of like a trinket that's tied to his experiences in that world that sort of just projects his power into a new thing. It's through his memories, kind of. And that's it. So it's the same Keyblade, just with different powers, kind of from different events in his life. Jeff.
Why does Sora only get a keychain to match the aesthetics of some worlds and not other ones?
That's one of the great mysteries and the great disappointments of my life. But one day we'll crack that code and we'll find out why. Scholars still speculate. Let's see. Ben?
So the Keyblade of People's Hearts.
Oh, that's right. So it's the Keyblade of People's Hearts is composed of, you put together the 7 hearts, the 7 hearts of pure light, the 7 Princess of Hearts, of Light's hearts, and it turns into a Keyblade. It turns into a big, spiky, intimidating-looking Keyblade. Though, that's the rule they say in the game, but they do it with only 6 of them. So they immediately break their own rules they've just established and do it with just 6. So I guess the one we get is kind of fucked up, even though it works perfectly fine. But anyway, there's a boss fight at this point where Sora fights Riku with that. Sora wins. He knocks out Riku. He's out cold. And it's at this point that Sora has an epiphany. They've been wondering for a long time why it is that Kairi won't wake up. Her body appears unharmed. It's that her heart is missing from her body. We've known that. But where is that heart? Where did it go? It's got to be somewhere. It is, in fact, within Sora's heart. That is where her heart is. It's within him. So, in order to get it out, he takes Riku's Keyblade of People's Hearts.
Oh no.
Turns it on himself, stabs himself in the heart, and releases 2 hearts come out of his body. Kairi's heart and his own heart. And other stuff too, but we'll get to that later. This is like the most important thing that happens in the entire series. And Kairi's heart immediately returns to her body, and she's fine. But Sora's heart is not fine, and is again released from his body. So his body at this point sort of disintegrates into light, and Kairi wakes up immediately and is totally fine. She's like, Sora, oh my god, what's happening? And Sora's body just disappears, and he's gone. He's seemingly dead. We immediately start playing as a little Heartless shadow, like the weakest possible Heartless is what Sora's heart manifests as. So by releasing it, he got turned into a Heartless. But he still has his mind. And people don't really know why this is. The speculation is that because he did it to himself willingly, he preserved some consciousness or whatever. Anyway, almost immediately he finds Kairi. She hugs him, And he's fine. He just turned back. He's just fine. He's totally fine at this point. It was not a big deal at all. It was totally cool. And it's one of the most miraculous things in the series. Jeff.
Is it a big deal later?
It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Well, actually, the specific turning back actually that does have massive ramifications. Because there are things that happened while he was a shadow that are a real big deal later on for other characters all over the place here. We'll get to them. Ben.
Not to get too much into specifics, but are there other instances in this universe of people being turned into Heartless and then being cured by love?
Not by love, but by more firmly established rules of Kingdom Hearts. Yes. People have been Heartless. Well, under certain conditions, yes. Under certain conditions, yes. Did you?
So the 7 princesses pure light.
Right.
Are there any pure darkness princesses to balance that scale?
No princesses, but if you look over here, there's 7 hearts of light and 13 things of darkness is a big thing that actually has real significance later on. So not pure darkness, no. But there is a representative
enough
of darkness.
to balance the scale. That's why it's 13 as opposed
The Heartless
specifically
are darkness, right?
in reference to the 7 princesses of light. No, there is no counterpart to them specifically, but there is representation for the forces of darkness elsewhere in the universe. And you could say the Heartless is one, but there's more. And the Keyblade Mickey has is the darkness key.
Hashtag we need diverse games. More dark representation.
We do need more representation. Too many light boys. We need some dark boys. So, okay, let's see. So Sora's fine, Kairi's fine, and the only thing left to do now is they have discovered all the secrets, they just have to go beat up Ansem Seeker of Darkness. So they head to the end of the world, which is a world composed of the decaying ruins of other worlds, and they find him, and they fight him. And basically, their fight is a big old one of those, and at the very end, Ansem Seeker of Darkness appears to be a Heartless. He's kind of got a giant battleship Heartless thing attached to him. And when they beat him, he reaches out because they're real close to the realm of darkness. He reaches out and he's like, I've got to get Kingdom Hearts. I've got to see what's in there. He was able to use the hearts when he had them. He temporarily did have all 7 hearts of light, and he was able to open a gateway to Kingdom Hearts in this world. And so he opens it, and as he smugly says, he's just been defeated by Sora and he's about to die. And he needs darkness, which he says, it's in Kingdom Hearts, I gotta get it, it's in there. And he opens the door, and Sora says, I know deep down in my brain's heart that Kingdom Hearts is light! And he opens the door, and darkness was coming out, but all of a sudden a big light just shoots out of the door, proving that hearts are in fact light.
Wow.
Deep down inside.
That's incredible.
Jeff.
Does that mean that Sora is Haruhi Suzumiya?
No, demerit. So at this point, okay, so the door to darkness, and by the way, that light finishes off Ansem Seeker of Darkness. He is dead. He has died. He has passed away. Ben.
Was there any reason why Ansem thought Kingdom Hearts was darkness?
His research only found darkness. So he had a very scientific foundation, we can't look into his research to check his... There's no peer-reviewed studies, let's just say, to compare his research to, but he found only darkness. He thought it was really cool. It made him think, that's the source of all power. I gotta get that shit. And so he went hard for it, but it didn't work out. Turns out there's light in that thing.
Dang.
So, Jeff?
Is that the last we'll hear of Ansem?
Refer to the list here, please, for all the people who are Ansem and Xehanort, for answer to that question. So, Gigi?
So it's the message of Kingdom Hearts 1 that science is stupid.
Pretty much, yes.
And
That's
faith
exactly.
is all that you need.
The message is that magnets aren't real if our eyes aren't real. Something like that. So at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1... So, if you remember, Sora's real deal in Kingdom Hearts 1, and his motivation throughout the series, is to find his friends. He doesn't really care about protecting the worlds. He does it because he's there, but mostly he's about finding Riku. Specifically Riku, and also Kairi sometimes. And so at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, the door to darkness, or to Kingdom Hearts, has been opened, which does lead through the realm of darkness. So this door is open right now. Ansem's dead, but the door is still open, and they need to close it off because there's Heartless in that realm of darkness, and they can't let that shit out of there.
I thought Kingdom Hearts was light.
It's got both.
There's both, yeah. Like it's vague.
The light's
it's
the core.
really vague, but there's both.
Would you
Yes.
say it's like okay, the light is the core.
The
and
light
it's
is the core,
surrounded
yeah.
by darkness, and maybe Ansem just didn't see through all the darkness to that light.
It's
like
possible
milky,
that
the milky center.
It's possible that the worlds willed Ansem dead, and that was their influence that caused that. Jeff.
Is it possible that like the light was just casting a big shadow and Ansem's just really fucking stupid?
That is entirely possible. And people speculate that actually, yes. That because there's so much light in the center of Kingdom Hearts that shadows are cast.
Shadows.
That's one of the things that people do talk about. So yeah, makes sense to me. And that's without light you can't have darkness, and vice versa.
They're closing the door. What's happening?
What?
No, motherfucker.
They're closing the door, right? So the door has to be closed from either side. So Sora and his buddies close it from the light side. Riku, and by the way, this is the first time in the game that Mickey Mouse shows up, and he's got his key. He just pops up after they defeated Ansem. He's like, "I'm here to save everybody." Oh shit! Well, let's close this door. And they close the door, and they use their respective keyblades from either side of the door to seal it shut. And Riku is still on the side of darkness. So Sora is tragically separated from Riku once again. And Mickey and Donald, or Donald and Goofy, are from the king as well. But in any case, at this point, because if you recall, this happens in the place called the End of the World, and where all the remains of worlds were collected. At this point, they all whoosh away because the influence over them is gone, and just return to full scale, and they are revived. So the worlds are saved. Digi.
So to clarify,
Yeah.
Mickey and Riku are now both in the world of darkness.
That's correct. That's correct.
Which is also Kingdom Hearts, or adjacent
Kingdom Hearts
to
is
Kingdom
around
Hearts.
there. It's adjacent to Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, alright.
Something like that. It's just really vague and not well
But they
specified.
never call it Kingdom Hearts in that game.
Ansem does say, he addresses Kingdom Hearts at the end as he's dying. He says, Kingdom Hearts is darkness, but like Kingdom Hearts was not there. Because later on, there's like other rules you have to use to get to Kingdom Hearts, and it's really confusing. They change it all the time. We'll get to it.
When Sora declares that he is positive that Kingdom Hearts is light, has he ever even heard of Kingdom Hearts before?
It has never been mentioned up to that point.
That was my suspicion.
But he believes. He believes
Wait,
that
so
it's light.
does he
I've
say
heard
the
of really
phrase Kingdom Hearts there, or does he just say that they...
Sora?
Yeah.
Sora says, I know deep down in my heart that Kingdom Hearts is light. That's the quote.
It sounds like it would be,
He's
based
had
on
a
the
journey.
name. Based on the name that you just heard.
You wanted to marry. He's had some
No,
adventures.
no.
He's learned that hearts are full of light. He's gained some life experience.
So
Hippo.
clearly the kingdom of them would also be such.
There you go.
If Ansem thought Kingdom Hearts was darkness, what was he trying to do to it if it was already dark?
Gain influence over it. He's a scientist who just wanted to know shit. And I guess also he thought making the world darkness would be a good idea. His motivations are not super clear. He's a scientist who was really fixated on darkness. And he was like, that's the ultimate darkness. Gotta get there. And that's kind of what the villains do in Kingdom Hearts. And that's the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. So we did it.
Thanks, Nomura.
We did it. Yeah, thank you, Nomura. Kingdom Hearts 1 has by far the most coherent plot, and that should tell you something about the remaining games in the series. It's a very quaint plot about a boy on an adventure, Disney worlds, saving his friends, big bad guy to be at the end.
A very quaint plot about the entire cast of Final Fantasy colliding with the Disney universe and Mickey, etc.
So, in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, things get off the rails!
Oh.
Things get nuts. Did you?
Oh, I beat that one.
You did? For the GBA?
Yeah.
Good job. That's I'm fond of that game. Jeff?
Did you beat both versions of it?
No.
I particularly like the remake for the PS2. Ben?
Is that the one with the card mechanics?
That's correct. Cards are the thing to know
I
in
played
Chain
that
of
one
Memories.
too, actually.
Jeff?
But I was asking if you beat the Riku chapter.
Oh, I don't know.
He probably isn't. Oh.
It's been 10 plus years.
Yeah.
I think it's been 12 years since I played it.
I'm sure he remembers very little, if any. Okay, so
And I didn't read any of the cutscenes.
Fantastic. We're off to a great start. Well, that's why we're here at PCP University, to clarify these gaps in our brains. So, in Chain of Memories, all you really need to know is that Chain of Memories is a big setup piece for Kingdom Hearts 2. It's incredibly complex and is so inextricably linked from the events of Kingdom Hearts 2. it's unreal. So what you need to know is that Sora has gone on a quest to find Riku and the king once again, because they're gone. The rest of the worlds are fine. Kairi's fine. She's back on Destiny Islands. But Riku and the king are elsewhere. Who knows where the fuck they went. So they need to go find him, and that's what they do. They end up in a place called Castle Oblivion. They're just wandering, and they find this place. The worlds kind of gave them a path, and it led them to this world in betwixt called Castle Oblivion. And Castle Oblivion has some unique properties. When you go in, the further you go into the castle, the more you forget. And your memories turn into cards. You know, it's a gimmick to turn things into cards, but it also has massive ramifications for the story, which are way more interesting. So the gameplay's fine, but Ben?
Are the cards specifically mentioned in other games?
The cards themselves are not much of a factor in other games because they only really matter in that castle. But the ramifications of the cards as memories have massive implications elsewhere.
Okay.
Right. So what you need to know about Castle Oblivion is that it's being run by half of Organization 13, or the Organization as they call themselves. They're a group of 13 Nobodies, and in Chain of Memories, we have no idea what that is or what that means. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But they're just there's I think 5 really powerful bad guys who are in Castle Oblivion trying to beat up Sora or control Sora. And Riku, by the way, is also there. He shows up after Sora and has his own adventure parallel to it. Did you?
The 13, the organization.
Yeah.
Those are the goth kids who literally everyone ever cosplayed in high school, right?
That's correct, including me.
Yeah, of course. I had no doubts.
Yeah, it's
needed no clarification.
The organization is the most hot topic group that has ever existed,
They all
and
wear
I love it.
like identical black trench coats with chains all over them. They're all basically Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Ben,
if Organization 13 fought Akatsuki, who would be cool? Who would win, and who would look cooler doing it?
That's a tough one. I don't know.
How have I never thought about that before?
Jeff.
Organization 13 was like the #1 default original character creation factory for.
I made a few in my own day.
All you need is a bright colored hair.
Wait, it doesn't matter. We're getting off track.
Organization 13, Soul Society, free for all.
Yeah, that was the thing in 2006. Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2006, and in Chain of Memories, it was a GBA game. People didn't pay that much attention to it. It was when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out that things really got kicked up a gear when with the whole organization shit. But every organization member has like a specific element and a specific weapon, and that makes them special and unique and edgy as fuck and the coolest guys of all time. So there you go, Jeff.
The guy with the water guns is a dick.
Demix is tough. He's real hard. Don't like fighting him. He's not fun. Ben, were you gonna ask something?
I was gonna say which one was my favorite, but then I remembered a bunch of others that were also my favorite.
That's the problem. You think one favorite, there's like 8 more.
I can't pick just one.
Okay, let's move along. So
they're just so cool though.
They are so cool.
I just want to dwell on them.
It can't be overstated how cool the organization members are. It's really true.
Can't tell if being memed.
No.
Half and
Why
half.
do you think I'm giving a lecture on Kingdom Hearts 2 lore right now? If I didn't think these were the coolest characters who ever existed. That's not a joke. Don't laugh. Hey, how we feeling?
Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go.
Excellent. So, we're in Castle Oblivion. Sora is just there, and he's being led on by the members of Organization 13 who are there, who tell him that they have Riku. They're just stringing him along. Just come further into the castle, we'll get you. Meanwhile, they have specific plans. They are trying to control Sora to do some shit, because he's the Keyblade wielder, and that's important. They're trying to do stuff with that. And Riku is also there in parallel, trying to just chase down Sora and protect him. But he's facing an issue right now, because Riku, if you recall, was possessed by Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. At this point, that sort of spirit of Ansem is still sort of alive within Riku and is currently fighting to gain control over Riku's body. So all throughout Chain of Memories, Riku's struggle is really that the darkness in him is going to overtake him and he's going to turn into Ansem again. It's a big thing. Did you?
I don't think we clarified, so Riku was beaten at the end of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ansem died.
Mm-hmm.
What, is Riku a good guy now?
Essentially, yes. It was kind of assumed that once
Did they
Ansem
get over
was
their
dead...
jealous shit?
Their adventures by the end made them on pretty good terms at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 for the most part. They got over their... It was pretty childish in Kingdom Hearts 1, but it was also simple and clean and pure. Ben?
And he retained the Keyblade of people's hearts.
Oh, I should have said, after Sora stabbed himself, the Keyblade exploded into the 6, and they returned to the Disney princesses, and they're fine.
So the Keyblade of people's hearts is no more.
That's correct, and never is to be seen again throughout the series.
So Riku doesn't have a Keyblade.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Well, what about Evil Memories Riku from the Castle of Oblivion?
He will show up shortly, because everyone's memories are currently being fucked with in Castle Oblivion. At least that's how it appears at first. As Sora goes through the castle, his memories are being manipulated. In fact, not by the castle. This is kind of the end of the story there. But there is a specific individual in that castle who has a unique ability to control specifically Sora's memories and the people tied to them. Chain of Memories refers to the sort of the sequence of the connections between hearts that Sora has formed over his adventures. This is what it means. So there's a character, Namine. Namine is a girl who is being held captive by the organization members at the castle, whose leader is number 11 of the organization, Marluxia, and they're using her for nefarious purposes. Did you?
Is Namine the white-haired girl that's in the FMV sequences that all the AMVs are made out of?
She's blonde, but yes, that's the one. She wears a white dress. She's super cute. Love her to bits. Want to kiss her on the lips. Give up?
I still don't really know what the organization is or does.
It's never clarified until Kingdom Hearts 2, so you're just where I was, and you're where everyone was when they're playing this game. All we know is that right now they have some plan that requires control over Sora. That's what they're trying to do, to get the Keyblade.
So Sora is at the Castle Oblivion.
He is in the castle, that's right.
Why?
But to clarify, there are 13
Because
members.
he was told Riku was there by the organization members. That's why.
There's 13. It's not just called 13, but there's 13.
Sort of 13. Well, yeah, you can just say there's 13.
Ones, right? Or like.
Well, there's a 14th who's important too, but we'll get to her in Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days for the 3DS, or for the Nintendo DS. There's 13 members. That's all you need to know. Anyway, so the point is, Sora just goes through the castle, he's losing memories, and by the end of the thing, it's actually pretty haunting, he has forgotten a lot of people, and actually, one of the most creepy things is that his memories of Kairi are being replaced with memories of Namine in her role in his life. So his love for Kairi is being, and we know that Namine is a girl in the castle being controlled by the organization. They are replacing Kairi's place in his heart. They're manipulating the chain of memories, because that's Namine's power, to swap out Namine for Kairi, so that they'll be able to control Namine and then control Sora by doing that, because he'll do whatever Namine says to do. So we get to the end, and basically, so at this point, Sora is obsessed with saving Namine. That's what he wants to do more than anything else in the world. He gets to the end. He's defeated, I believe, 3 organization members at this point. And he's just like a kid who has killed these adults with super god powers. So he's pretty strong at this point. He's doing quite well. He gets to the end, and he fights Marluxia, the leader. He defeats him, and is face-to-face with Namine. And Namine is now freed. Her captors have been dispatched, and which no one expected, which is very hard to believe, because he's a little kid. But he did it, so he's really strong. And Namine just apologizes, and throughout this whole ordeal, she's been forced to do this. She had no desire to do this at all. She just would have been killed if she hadn't done it. At this point, she says, "Okay, Sora, I really fucked you up, dude. I'm sorry about that, but we can fix it all. But it's gonna take a long time. I'm gonna have to put you into cryostasis in order to heal what I've done to you and put all the memories back exactly where they were." So Sora has formed a real bond with Namine over this thing, but with both real and fake memories. But because this is actually important, believe it or not, because the memories have been manipulated in such a way that the ones that exist now are fake. In order to fix the damage, Namine has to just undo all the memories that they actually had together of Namine and Sora. So he won't remember Namine at all. And that's relevant because memories are super important in Kingdom Hearts, and they do a lot of stuff. So she's going to fix him, but he's going to forget everything that happened in Castle Oblivion, and is going to only remember things up to the beginning, or up to the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. So that's where we're at. And by the way, Ben.
So, was Chain of Memories entirely retconned out?
Well, you could call it a retcon, but it is all perfectly...
He doesn't remember anything that happened in it. So
That's correct.
It's kind of like a retconning mechanism, even though the events stay relevant in other ways.
Oh, I definitely do not think so. Ben, I was going to say, because Riku has another story that happens throughout the whole thing that is perfectly normal in the lore. There's no problems with the lore of Riku's events. Because at the end, so that's the thing. Riku, this whole time, is sort of following along behind Sora, and when he gets to the end, he knows that Sora has been fucked up real bad. And by the way, Riku, once you beat Sora's story, you can play through Riku's. Riku's memories are not affected at all by being there, because Namine can only control Sora's memories. So he's perfectly fine. He just beats a bunch of organization members and gets to the end. And also we're introduced to, and this is where memories start to be really important, a Riku replica. This guy, what's his name? Not Zigbar. Zaldin. They all have an X in their name. Ienzo is his real name. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Ixion, thank you. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. That's a Final Fantasy X summon. Whatever, it doesn't matter. One of the sciencey guys in the organization takes some memories siphoned off of Riku. He kind of phases through them and steals some memories, which you can just do, I guess. And he turns those into a Riku replica. And over the course of Chain of the Memories, the Riku replica fights Sora in Sora's story a bunch of times, and then also fights Riku a bunch of times. And you might think it's a cost-saving measure to just reuse the same boss, but you'd be correct. But also, it's plot relevant, because at the end, he has his own arc, and is the only character in the series to actually die. He doesn't turn into a Heartless. Nothing crazy happens to that guy. He just dies. I think he's seppuku's, taking out one of the organization members. I don't remember which one.
Didn't what's this fuck die, or is it because he's everybody else he's not?
Are you talking about Xehanort or Ansem?
Yeah.
Ansem's not dead. Ansem's not dead. He was defeated, but his heart went elsewhere. I mean, when you're killed with a Keyblade, you don't really die. You just turn into a heart and you rejoin the collective. But there was speculation about whether or not Riku Replica even had a heart. So, and this ties into a theme about what does and doesn't have a heart in Kingdom Hearts, and it's all over the place, man.
So not only do we really not have any idea what a heart even is, we also don't know who's got one.
To some extent.
Okay.
To some extent. Things are real vague, man. That's just how Nomura likes it.
Yeah.
So we get to the end of Chain of Memories, and basically, and Riku finally has the end of his arc where he has a final battle against the darkness within himself as Ansem Seeker of Darkness, and he wins. And at this point, he has mastered the darkness in himself at long last, and is able to sort of be at peace with himself. He can use both darkness and light powers, and it's all cool. He's fine. He's fine, and he's dedicated himself to the cause now, because he knows that Sora is in slumber, to protecting Sora while he sleeps until Namine is able to repair his memories. So that's where we're left at the end of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories for the GBA and later for the PS2. And that's when we get to the big one, the big game in all of Kingdom Hearts lore, Kingdom Hearts 2 for the PlayStation 2, released in, I believe, 2006. And this is where everything that happens in Chain of Memories finally pays off. We deal with everything to do with the remaining organization members. We learn why they were doing what they're doing as best as Nomura is able to explain it. And lots of seeds are sown for future games. And for the most part, they've all been fairly faithfully addressed so far in the narrative. So Kingdom Hearts 2 starts with Sora being revived, but there's a section before Sora comes back to life where we play as a character named Roxas. And Roxas is my favorite character in all of Kingdom Hearts because he's so angry about everything. So you start the game as this totally separate character that we've never seen before named Roxas. He just spends a couple of days doing homework, but weird things start to happen in his life, and he lives in a place called Twilight Town. And we're introduced to Nobodies, who are these weird gray things that aren't heartless, but function in a very similar way. And we don't know what they are. We don't know what, but Twilight Town is full of And so eventually, over the course of the days, we learned that actually what's going on is that we are in a virtual simulation, and Roxas is a prisoner there, being held there by what appears to be a revived Ansem Seeker of Darkness and a weird guy named Diz. We don't know who that is. But they have Roxas's body here, and they appear to be trying to help Sora come back to life. Okay, so that's their goal, to help Sora. And it involves Roxas in some way. But eventually what happens is the organization infiltrates this data world where they were trying to sort of protect Roxas. Oh, Roxas gets the Keyblade. Roxas just gets the Keyblade, and he charges into where they...
Sora's Keyblade?
We don't know at this point, but we know there's a connection between Roxas and Sora. Roxas keeps having dreams about Sora, and there's a moment where Kairi, who we've now seen, it's a year later from when the worlds were saved at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, and we see that Kairi has gotten longer hair, she's older, she's hanging out with Selphie on Destiny Islands, and she has a moment where she connects with Roxas psychically, and they kind of talk to each other briefly. And it's really weird. We don't know what the heck's going on with that. But ultimately what happens is Roxas is able to kind of beat up everyone trying to stop him, get to sort of the home base of the guys who have imprisoned him, Diz and the Ansem Seeker of Darkness guy, and he finds there Sora's body. And Sora's body is in its cocoon, where it's been for a year, and it's at this point that Roxas he disappears, and we don't know what the fuck happened to him. He's gone. And we start playing as Sora. We start off from that exact spot, pick up the game as Sora. And so now that we're Sora, basically these Nobodies are still around, and we don't know what the fuck they are. So Sora starts to investigate what they are. He meets Mickey's old Keyblade master, Yen Sid, and he tells him that, well, Sora... Oh, by the way, Goofy and Donald are back with him. They're all together again. And they do in fact have no memory of Namine. The first thing they do when they wake up is check their journal to see what happened, because they have Jiminy Cricket who keeps the journal. And there's just one note that says thank Namine, but they have no memory of what that means, so they've forgotten everything.
Why don't Donald and Goofy remember Namine?
Because their memories were also being fucked with. Because they're so closely linked to Sora, like their memories were getting fucked up as well, being in the castle.
In the chain, right? Like,
yeah. Because everyone's connected, all the chains.
Were the other two put into stasis and memory repair process as well, or does just the fact that it was done to Sora also do it to them?
They were put into stasis as well, because their memories... I think the castle made it easier to manipulate memories or something. Like, Namine's powers were particularly potent in the castle, so their memories got fucked up too, and they had to be fixed as well. Okay, so... we now learn what Nobodies are. Okay, we can refer to our chart, finally, thank God. So Yen Sid tells us that there's a new threat in the world that they've only recently taken notice of, and they are called Nobodies. And man, Nobodies are super cool. They're super cool. So if you take a person, and remember, a person is a soul plus a heart plus a body. When you take a person and you remove just the heart from them, they retain the soul and the body. And what can happen sometimes, if that person has a strong will, that the remaining body and soul can manifest in the form of a nobody. And nobodies, they kind of look like gray Heartless. They're weird. And this is their symbol. If you have a really strong will, then you can in fact retain your human shape. It's kind of like DBZ. When you die, if you have a strong will, you stay human. It's kind of like that. So it turns out that the organization is composed of nobodies. They are people who were turned into Heartless, but they had such strong convictions and whatever they were trying to do, they retained their human shape and abilities. Ben?
What happens to your body and soul if you don't have a strong enough will to become a Heartless? Is it just comatose?
It kind of just dissipates.
Just dissipates?
Just goes away, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't go comatose. Oh, that's because there's another relevant factor to that.
I was wondering about... Well, I'll ask later.
Like Kairi?
It was Kairi. You said because Kairi had her heart removed and she was just... Maleficent just had her body.
Special case. Okay. Digi.
Okay, so the Nobodies that you fight that are just gray monsters, they are themselves strong-willed people, but even stronger-willed people are the Nobodies who are still human-looking.
That's correct.
There's a lot of strong-willed people out there.
Yeah. Well, there are also degrees of how powerful Nobodies are. Like, there are the really shit ones, which are, I guess they're just barely over the bar to being a Nobody. They're kind of formless and they kind of undulate and change shape a lot. And then there's the more powerful ones, and then there's the organization guys who are like the strongest. Hippo?
What the hell do souls do, if anything?
Souls are never addressed as to what the fuck they do. It's just known that, like, the soul is what keeps you alive without a heart. It's what... I don't know, man.
I mean, I would assume that if a nobody, like, if the organization are nobodies, then the soul is like their personality, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that that's correct.
Right, whereas the heart is their literal emotion.
Like, so this is not a materialistic universe, of course, at all. So the souls exist in Kingdom Hearts, and they do something important that's not really specified. Jeff?
I think that the soul is like the core personality, whereas the heart is the memories and connections that people have with other people.
Memories are definitely related to hearts, that's for sure.
Because the nobodies don't have, like, strict memories of their past lives, do they? Actually,
they do. There are certain conditions. Okay, we can just talk about this right now. So when a person turns into a nobody, if a Heartless is formed at the same time, if you are a full-fledged, like, organization level nobody, then what happens is your memories are sort of data processed from your heart, which is currently turning into a Heartless, and is fed into your nobody. And if that process is interrupted, then you won't have all your memories. So, for example, I mean, there's no reason to beat around the bush. Roxas is Sora's nobody. Roxas is, in fact, Sora's nobody, who was created when Sora used the Keyblade of People's Hearts to remove his heart and turned into a Heartless. His body, which disappeared, became a nobody, Roxas, which formed in Twilight Town. And that nobody, all of Sora's memories sort of started to filter across into Roxas, which is why Roxas has these weird, like, semi-memories of Sora sometimes. But Sora woke up really, really fast. Remember I said how fast Sora came back to life after being turned into a Heartless? That was actually very important because it made Roxas sort of just an empty shell of a man. And then Sora got back like 95% of his memories.
Oh, so he was supposed to have... Normally, Roxas would have had all Sora's memories?
He would have just been Sora, basically, just in nobody form.
Wait, I think I see where this is going. There's got to be a connection between the lost memories that Namine removed and Roxas.
There certainly is. Jeff?
Isn't, like, Roxas not really Sora's nobody? Isn't he, like, the nobody of the person inside of Sora?
He is without a doubt. Nomura has been asked this question, as stated. No, he's definitely Sora's nobody. But yes, there are special conditions that relate to him being Sora's nobody, which we will get to when we talk about Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Ben.
So when someone is killed under certain circumstances, their heart becomes a nobody, their body and soul become... No, their heart becomes a Heartless, their body and soul become a nobody. What happens if the Heartless and the nobody meet each other?
If they meet each other... Okay, if the Heartless meets
if
the nobody...
Heartless and the nobody encounter one another.
Unknown what happens if the Heartless meets the nobody, but there are cases...
I know that Sora meets Roxas.
That's right.
But he's not...
we don't know what would happen if a Heartless met a nobody. I suspect that they would be incompatible, because a Heartless is like a corrupt person. It's not like that heart is like ready to just come back, you know?
Okay.
So, there are situations where if a Heartless dies, then what happens... If a Heartless is defeated by the Keyblade, specifically... That heart begins to float out in the interdimensional void, sort of protected from outside forces. It then sits there, awaiting its nobody to also be defeated by the Keyblade. And if that happens, then the two recombine, and the original somebody, is what people are called, is produced.
Really?
So that's, you can bring back somebody who's been turned into a Heartless or a nobody, theoretically.
By defeating both their Heartless and their nobody.
In that specific order, which is important.
Really?
Because if you defeat the nobody first, their body will just go away forever.
Oh my god.
So it's important to do that in the right order. Don't fuck that up, Jeff.
So in those big Musou battles in Kingdom Hearts 2, you're like spontaneously generating a lot of human beings in the middle of space.
Their hearts do float out in that void for a long time. Well, actually no, because in Kingdom Hearts 2, what the organization is doing is the organization has somehow co-opted the Keyblade's unique ability to revive hearts, and they have sort of diverted that stream through science mechanisms into what they call Kingdom Hearts, but is definitely not Kingdom Hearts. In Kingdom Hearts 2, what's going on is that so Ansem Secret of Darkness, right? He was the bad guy in Kingdom Hearts 1. Actually, he wasn't Ansem. He was a dude named Xehanort. he had stolen his master, Ansem the Wise. He had stolen his identity after Ansem the Wise told him to stop his research into the hearts and people's darkness, into the darkness of people's hearts, and had cast Ansem the Wise out into the realm of darkness. And him, Xehanort, and his fellow disciples of Ansem the Wise took over and started just going crazy, doing experiments. So this is clearly a retcon, but whatever, it's just how it is. There's a bunch of like little things that don't make sense here. Like there's these things called the Ansem reports in Kingdom Hearts 1, and in Kingdom Hearts 2, it's revealed that all of them except for one were faked and were said to be by the apprentice, but were said to be by the original Ansem, but were actually by the apprentice. Only one was actually by the man. It's fucked up. It's
does it really matter who wrote them, though? They're still true, right?
It does matter because there's a lot of referring to, like, I did this, and I did experiments that, killed everybody, and so it's just, there's Nomura fucked up, but he's still a god, so,
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so their goal in this game is to, so they're all nobodies, right? Their goal has become to regain their selves. And because we don't actually, the characters in the world don't actually know. Because actually, nobodies are a pretty new phenomenon. Heartless have only been manufactured for maybe 10 years or something, since the original experiments that Xehanort and the other apprentices have done started the proliferation of Heartless throughout the world of light. Nobodies are a fairly new thing. The organization's real goal, that's right.
Yeah.
Their real goal was to take all the hearts they could get and smush them together and make hearts for themselves. Because we didn't talk about this before, but the main downside to being a nobody is that you have no emotions. You don't have any emotions. You feel real sad all the time. Well, actually, you don't even feel sad. You feel nothing.
What was I gonna say?
Are they sad that they don't have any emotions? Is that
actually? It kind of seems like they are. Yes.
They're like, oh.
This is one of the biggest bullshit points in the whole series.
Why can't I feel anything?
You would think that someone who has no emotions wouldn't be motivated to do anything to change it, and yet they're super motivated. Jeff.
Axel is clearly in love with Roxas.
That's kind of a... Okay. As we find out way later, that was totally bullshit and wasn't true at all, and every nobody will eventually regrow a heart. So you can throw all this shit out the window. But for Kingdom Hearts 2, this was totally true. So, it still matters in the context of Kingdom Hearts 2. Right around Dream Drop distance is where this all goes in the trash.
Okay, I'm looking forward.
But for now, it's legit. So, the ultimate point of Kingdom Hearts 2 is to sort of discover who the fuck Roxas was that you played at the beginning of the game, which you find out later is, he's a nobody of Sora. And to find out who the fuck Namine was, because that was unclear in Chain of Memories, and to know what happened to Riku, the king, and what state the world is in following the events of Kingdom Hearts 1. So, turns out that guy who looked like Ansem Seeker of Darkness was in fact Riku. Riku hadn't turned evil and given into darkness, but he found that if he sort of took on the shape of Ansem Seeker of Darkness, and that's why I call him Ansem Seeker of Darkness, because he is not Ansem, totally different guy. We're talking about Ansem Seeker of Darkness, the main villain of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Versus Ansem the Wise.
Versus Ansem the Wise, who's the real Ansem. That's right. Digi.
And to clarify, Ansem, the real Ansem, is not Sora or Xehanort.
No, but he is very related to him. I mean, there's.
But he is not.
He's his own. He has no connection physically or biologically to anybody else.
He's basically backstory. He's not. Important.
Yeah, kind of.
Did you just say that Riku was Ansem Seeker of Darkness, the villain from Kingdom Hearts 1?
He has taken on the appearance of him in Kingdom Hearts 2.
So he wasn't actually also the villain in the first game.
He was possessed by him.
He was possessed by him, and Ansem still lived on in his heart at some level.
New thing in Kingdom Hearts 2 is just Riku has decided to look like that guy.
That's right. And he did that because he gets a power boost when he does it. And you see, what Riku had been doing in between the events of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Ben?
Why does he get a power boost by looking like Ansem?
Because it's really convenient.
I don't
for the
know.
plot.
You know why? So it could be a cool thing where he looks like Ansem now, and
so they can trick you into thinking Ansem's still alive.
First of all,
and trick you for the whole game.
First of all, it doesn't make any sense that he can look like Ansem. Second of all, why does he need a power boost? Why would that happen?
Well, I mean, there was one scene. I mean, I feel like this is the justification for why he looks like Ansem, but there is a scene throughout Kingdom Hearts 2 that you see where Roxas So Riku's goal throughout Kingdom Hearts 2 and beforehand was to reunite Roxas with Sora. Because as we find out, Roxas had a whole bunch of memories that were, when Namine was fucking up with the chains, a lot of that stuff just ended up with Roxas. And Sora needed them links back in order to be revived fully as his own dude. So they needed to kidnap and murder Roxas in order to resurrect Sora. That's fact. And that was Riku's primary goal throughout the events of before Kingdom Hearts 2.
Although Sora was already better by the time that happened.
Well, it's before Kingdom Hearts 2 starts that he's doing. Roxas being kidnapped is because Riku kidnapped him and beat him up and put him in a data thing.
This is while Sora was in the comatose pod.
That's correct.
Okay.
There's so many things happen while Sora's unconscious.
Why didn't Riku think that Sora would just wake up and be okay like Namine said he would?
Because Namine said that he wouldn't. Because complications arose.
Oh.
Complications arose, which is
because
the tagline of Kingdom Hearts.
Complications.
So this whole thing so far is complications.
That's right.
Because Roxas has like 5% of Sora's memories, and he needs
he
all
got
of his
he
memories
got way
back.
more later because in the events of Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, memory manipulation becomes an even bigger deal and sort of spiraling off from the Riku replica events of Chain of Memories. Well, in any case, Kingdom Hearts 2 we'll go back to that in a second, but Kingdom Hearts 2 sort of wraps up with Sora finding Riku. They just, as soon as they meet, they like immediately cure him looking like, because he was sort of stuck looking like Ansem Seeker of Darkness, which is why he hides from Sora throughout the whole game, because he's ashamed of how he looks, which keeps Sora looking for him the whole game. As soon as they meet, Sora immediately cures it. Sora doesn't do it himself, but there's like a magic machine in the next room that they use to cure it. It was great. It could have done anything. It could have done anything, but it cured Riku immediately. Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Glad you're so in support of this.
Fucking
contrived ass.
I love it. I love it. It's the best plot I've ever heard. So, okay, and basically they're just trying to beat up the organization. Because the organization's goal, like I said before, they're manipulating Sora to, they're fucking with worlds to create Heartless, so that Sora will beat up those Heartless with his Keyblade, because only he can do this, to take those hearts and send them along a path that they manipulate to form their fake Kingdom Hearts in this world called the World That Never Was, which is sort of the nobody hub world. And they will use that. Their plan is to use that to give themselves back hearts, because they're sad that they're nobodies, even though they have no emotions. There you go. I guess that's the one emotion they have, that they want a heart. I don't know. Never addressed. But in any case, so they get to they kill. Sora slaughters every member of Organization 13. It's awesome. It's rad. Some of the best boss fights ever.
So
Ben,
because he has not slain their corresponding Heartless, they're just being dissolved.
all the cool ones, it turns out later, had their Heartlesses conveniently killed.
Okay.
I mean, I guess they were just some of the Heartless you killed. I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? More,
but only the cool ones.
But yeah, I mean, like Luxord number 10. You kill his nobody in Kingdom Hearts 2. In subsequent games, we haven't seen him anywhere. I guess he's just dead. But Axel's fine. Axel's gonna be fine forever. He's not going anywhere.
Fine forever.
Everyone will be fine in Kingdom Hearts.
Forever.
They will just keep making up excuses to preserve people's life. Don't worry about any of these characters. No one will ever leave.
Okay.
Except maybe Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts 3.
This is just Bleach. This whole series is Bleach.
This
is literally Bleach.
Some people die.
They
It's
got
very
an
similar to
organization
Bleach.
of 13 people who all wear the same outfit.
Yeah, that's true.
Half
That's
of them
true.
have emotions. The other half are just fucking who cares.
And his dad's
And
an
they'll
angel, and
never
his mom's
die.
a demon, and he's 12, but he looks like he's 1,000 years old. Whatever. Yeah, that's
No,
like
well,
he's
the other way around.
Other way around. Reverse that. He's 12, but he looks like he's 1,000 years old.
Awesome. What a Mary Sue.
What a Mary Sue. Okay, anyway, at the end of the game, you've killed all the organizations. Basically, the only one that's left is Xemnas. So when you get to him, he's got his Kingdom Hearts, and he's gonna use it, and you got to stop him, because I mean he's doing evil things. You know, you can't let him keep doing that. It eventually boils down to you get separated from your friends, Sora and Riku, 1v1 Xemnas, and it's awesome and it's radical.
You mean they 2v1 it?
Yes. I'm treating them like one because they're like one. They're like one.
Fucking opposite.
It's very gay. They're very gay for each other. And at the end they win. and Sora and Riku eventually make their way back to Destiny Islands, and it's great, and everything's awesome, and that's pretty much how Kingdom Hearts 2 resolves. Did you?
Does Kairi ever mean anything again to the story?
She's got a Keyblade now. She's back, baby.
Well, I feel like we just spent like an hour talking about the intro to Kingdom Hearts 2, and then you're just and then they win, and then that's the end.
The intro is what takes the time to set up.
Okay.
All the events are incredibly simple. They fight the bad guys and they win. It's all the lore and that's the stuff people have trouble digesting. Did you?
Does the Disney shit even matter in Kingdom Hearts 2?
The Disney shit doesn't matter at all. In fact, the Final Fantasy shit doesn't matter at all either.
What are the villains? What are all the Disney villains doing in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Okay, the thing is, those characters only mattered in Kingdom Hearts 1. They don't matter ever again. They're like Maleficent is still kind of a bit player, and Pete, like Mickey's rival from the old Mickey Mouse cartoons, him and Maleficent in Kingdom Hearts 2.
So do you just fight the Organization 13 members in the Disney worlds? Like, who are the final bosses of the Disney worlds?
For the most part, they're either Heartless that have been unleashed by the organization, or the organization members themselves. That's basically what it boils down to.
So at this point, it's kind of like the Disney shit is not as important to the series anymore.
And it never will be again. It's only relevant in Kingdom Hearts 1.
It's just iconography that's hanging around because...
That's right.
It's like someone who started writing a fanfic saying, no, I got better ideas than this.
Why does Kairi have a Keyblade?
Okay, well, we'll go. Okay, first of all, Munchie.
So you still go to like Disney worlds?
You certainly do. They're less and less relevant, and the Kingdom Hearts specific lore becomes more and more overbearing. Which there's a sweet spot for it. Okay, in Kingdom Hearts 2. Maybe it'll be better, Ben.
Why are you going to all these different worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Because your quest is to find Riku. That's what you're doing. You're trying to find Riku. And then you find problems, and because you're a good guy, you just help. You're the Keyblade guy. Tom.
Can I have a pair of sunglasses?
Suit up.
Sick.
Let's see. Any other details that are important? Oh, someone asked about Kairi, why she has a Keyblade?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Kingdom Hearts 2, out of fucking nowhere, Riku just shows up. By the way, Riku has a Keyblade now. He just got it. He just got it.
Same question. Why?
It's sort of implied.
Mickeys? Are there just more than two now?
Well, now's where things go off the rails with Keyblades. Well, first let's address Kairi. So Riku just walks into the room, pulls out a Keyblade we've never seen before, gives it to Kairi, says, "Fight these Heartless." She goes and fights some Shadow. Never comes up again in Kingdom Hearts 2. Never addressed. Nothing.
But this is in addition to the other Keyblade that he has.
Well,
so he's just got two, and he's got one to spare.
We know where Kairi's came from now, but it was never addressed in Kingdom Hearts 2 Prime.
Also,
Ben,
Roxas had two Keyblades, right?
We will get to why Roxas had two Keyblades, but yes, Roxas had,
Kairi's the one who, she wears the cute pink jacket in this
She looks like Avril Lavigne, she wears a tiny tie. If I recall correctly, in Kingdom Hearts 2.
When she's wearing a schoolgirl outfit, yes, she does wear a tiny tie, she's super cute. I love her very much.
I'm just my knowledge of Kingdom Hearts 2 is mostly based around having seen like thousands of AMVs to set like every song I liked.
Wake me up. Yeah.
Not that one. But
I'm working on that one.
Yeah. But it was like all just the FMV sequence from the beginning of the game was like all that was used in all those AMVs.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. The animation quality throughout most of the game is fairly cheap. But the FMVs, Square Enix does, are beautiful.
Yeah.
Tom?
Everything you're saying so far is like a giant clusterfuck of like contrivances.
You'll have to listen back to this 1,000 times in order to parse it properly.
I guess my question right now is that as someone who has never played any of these games, is the plot even the reason to play these games at all?
I would say Kingdom Hearts 1 is a charming story about childhood and adventure and dealing with, real teenage drama that we all go through. And it is a story worth paying attention to some degree. For the rest of it, it is basically a vehicle for really cool boss fights. And that's cool. And Keyblades are cool, but no, not really.
So this really is just Bleach.
It's basically, that's true. It's very bleachy. But once you're this deep, there's no getting out. So Kingdom Hearts 2 just resolves with everyone's back home, everyone's fine. Things are so done at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, they really should have stopped there. But then we would have only had this many games, and there's all these other games we could make, so they decided to go that route.
And we never would have found out why Kairi has a Keyblade.
Oh, right, no, I didn't answer why Riku had a Keyblade. it's sort of implied but never directly addressed that when Riku really found peace with himself and truly became one with whatever, it his Keyblade just showed up, you know?
That's so stupid. He should have just kept the other one that he got.
It's just it's a Zanpakuto, you know.
Yeah.
This is
What's up?
If why did it, in Kingdom Hearts 1, when he got his shit together, he just stole back Sora's Keyblade, but now he just got another one? Why didn't he just, in the middle of you being Sora fighting somebody, he's like, I'm cool now, and the Keyblade just disappeared, and Sora's like, fuck, and then he died.
Well, I think Riku thinks that would be maybe a dick move, and he's just moved on.
And he's right.
Yeah, he's right. He's just moved on, you know? It's Sora's Keyblade now.
The ability to just,
his logic
materialize another Keyblade?
His logic is the same as our logic, which is just Sora's just the Keyblade guy, so let's all just get over it already and move on with our lives.
Why did I choose one of these guys? I can do whatever I want.
Hey, maybe he could. He just, who knows? I mean, he got his own Keyblade now, so whatever. It all worked out for him.
I guess.
Okay.
I just don't get why he got a new one instead of being able to take back the one that was originally
Victor.
the first one.
Sorry, dude. Victor.
So now there's, everyone has a Keyblade. What's the point anymore? It doesn't do anything.
You might be disposed to say that it robs the Keyblade of all interest and coolness and value as a concept, but fuck you. So, Digi, what's up?
So what ultimately happened to Roxas in that game?
Okay, good question. So, as we said at the beginning of the game, Roxas sort of disappeared. We don't really know what happened to him. By the end of the game, there's a scene late in the game which is effectively where Roxas meets Sora. There's this thing called Dive into the Heart in Kingdom Hearts, which is sort of a place which is just in Sora's heart, which he visits occasionally for whatever reason. And he meets Roxas there, and they kind of just have a moment together. And after that, Roxas he just says "You're a good other," is the line, and then he just disappears. And after that, Sora just materializes this. The two become one Keyblade, and.
So Roxas is just in
He's
Sora.
been absorbed into Sora's, but that's the point. Ben.
And what about Namine? What happened to her?
Good. She is still doing things at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, but at one point she meets Kairi. She finds Kairi.
She's her nobody, right?
Oh, I didn't explain her origin, did I? Okay, we have to go into that. But Tom, you question first?
When Sora absorbs Roxas and fuses the Keyblade, does he get the memories back that Roxas had that he lost?
No, he doesn't. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Does he get a second Keyblade like Roxas had?
Actually, at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, he has developed the ability to use two Keyblades.
Sora has.
That's correct.
Huh.
And I'll talk about that in a bit, but Jeff's had his hand up for a bit. What's up?
Isn't the dual-wielding Keyblades thing related to a keychain that just splits them into two Keyblades?
Not quite. I'll tell you this. The dual Keyblade concept relates to the fact that Sora's heart has a little bit more going on inside there than your average heart. And we'll get into that business around here. Digi?
So, all that at the beginning of the game, when you're Roxas and you got all your friends and you're doing all this, does any of that horseshit matter at all? Or
Yes.
is it a huge fucking waste
Because
of
it
time?
makes you care about Roxas.
It didn't.
But yes,
it did not.
You're a
no
robot.
way.
Shut the hell
Get
up.
out of my
His friends
class.
are stupid and I hate
Digi sucks, and I always wanted to eat sea salt ice cream.
Yeah. Who didn't want to eat sea skull ice cream,
You
bitch?
enjoy playing those fucking skateboarding mini games, the garbage fucking controls, and you jump.
Look, it takes like 2
Roxas
hours.
is a cool guy, and he
I
has
failed
cool
on that like
friends.
30 times.
Look,
You suck at video games.
Yeah,
the
that's
game
right.
sucks.
Hey,
I'm
all right,
fine.
shut up. Gib, what's up?
You never explained why Roxas has two Keyblades.
That I will when I talk about why Sora does, because they're the same reason. And I will get to that. Ben?
So never explain what the hell is Namine.
I'm going to do that immediately. But Tom,
I
what's
just
up?
want to make the statement that Sora being able to magically use two Keyblades because he's a cool guy is getting dangerously close to Sword Art Online territory.
No.
It's not just
There's a
because
good
he's
reason.
Cool guy.
Okay, the thing is, though, in Kingdom Hearts 1, everything was as it was presented. Everything was fine. Within Kingdom Hearts 2...
Everything was simple and clean.
Everything was simple and clean. How we feeling, everybody? Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go.
When you walk away.
What was the question again? I spaced out.
What the hell? Well, Tom was saying that it's bad that...
Yeah, you were saying this.
Namine, we're on Namine.
Yeah, Namine.
Okay, let's get to Namine.
Yeah, let's just do that.
We'll address these issues later. Okay, so Namine's origin. Okay, So as we said before, Kairi is a princess of light, yes? Princesses of heart have no darkness in their hearts. So when a princess of heart loses her heart, it cannot become a heartless, because there's no darkness to start the chain reaction that makes you into a heartless. That just can't happen to a princess of heart. So normally, what happens to one is what happens to Kairi's body in Kingdom Hearts 1. Their body and soul, basically, are comatose. They just kind of hang out, and their soul just drifts off doing, or their heart just drifts off doing something untainted by darkness. But in this specific case, Kairi's heart took refuge in Sora's heart. It kind of just burrowed in there, and there's a moment where they kind of phase through each other, and in that moment, her heart went into Sora. So way later, when Sora releases Kairi's heart from within himself, and it releases both of their hearts. Okay, so when she became a Heartless in the first place, a Nobody can't be formed without darkness. A Nobody has to have darkness too, just like a Heartless does. So that could make a Heartless at that point, or that could make a Nobody at that point, or a Heartless. But when her heart is specifically released from within Sora's body, so Sora, hearts were released.
Sora does have darkness.
Sora does have a little bit of darkness. He's not a perfect person, so he's got a little bit of darkness. When those 2 hearts were released from his body, it formed 2 separate Nobodies. And those Nobodies are Roxas, who's just basically just, for the most part, just Sora's Nobody. And then Namine, who kind of is a half and half between Namine and Kairi. Princess of Heart, weirdo, witch, whatever.
So she's basically their daughter in this ship fic that is KH2.
Only way hotter. Yeah. Only totally of age. Yeah!
So she's not just Kairi's Nobody?
No, she is specifically sort of a weird amalgam of Sora.
So she's not a Nobody. She's her own thing.
She is a Nobody, but she does
she's got to be somebody's
Okay,
Nobody.
you can just think of her as Kairi's Nobody.
I'm
but
only comfortable thinking of it that way.
Then do so. Then please.
So she's totally of age in the same way that Sonichu's children are totally of age.
And when I say of age, I mean these are 13-year-old children. So, you know, Jeff, what's up?
Well, 14 now.
That's 14. They're 14.
So if Sora banged Namine,
yes,
what percentage masturbation would that be?
You mean for me? 100%. I don't know. I'm putting it at 80%, something like that.
80? What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. It's up into interpretation. Artistic integrity demands we leave it open. Okay.
Wait. So is there a distinct? Is there just final clarification?
Yes. Go ahead.
Is Namine?
This is very confusing.
Is Namine different from a Nobody?
Yes. She does have feelings. She seems to have a heart of her own.
Oh.
Yeah. So that makes her unique already.
Is this because...
Actually, you know what? No, wait, I'm wrong. I just remembered. She says that she doesn't have feelings, even though she acts like she does. It's convoluted. Tom, were you saying something?
I'm just going to think of her
as different from
a
Nobody because Kairi is a princess of hearts.
Yes. Normally there could never be a Princess of Heart Nobody, but because it was released in this weird way with Sora's body, his body was kind of divided up between Roxas and Namine in that moment, and became the 2 guys. Did you?
Okay, so why do the Nobodies have powers, like the organization?
Oh,
wait,
good question.
So Namine is part Sora too?
That's correct.
What the?
I thought I made that clear, but
Okay, all right.
And it is that weird connection to Sora that gives her weird chain memory manipulation powers. It's that weird shouldn't exist connection.
Only do him.
That's why it's only Sora's memories.
She can only do it to him.
That's right.
But why does everybody else have powers in the organization?
I'll answer that in 1 second after I answer Munch's question. What's up, Munch?
What was the original catalyst that made the main bitch's heart go into the main guy?
When the world was consumed by darkness, like darkness was just everywhere, and it was just consuming everything in the whole fucking world. And she just like she's not like not super strong or anything, able to resist darkness. So even though she's pure light, she just kind of got corrupted by it, and her heart just got like sucked out of her body. She just kind of died. Like everyone in the world just kind of died when the world fell into darkness.
But why did her heart go into Sora?
Because they happen, like, there's a scene where they pass through each other. He tries to catch her as she's being pushed by wind, and she phases right through.
But it's because everyone else died and became a Heartless. But she, because she's a Princess of Heart, she couldn't become a Heartless.
Yeah, that seems to be correct.
Just did its own thing and decided to take refuge.
Oh my god, we're starting to speak this language.
It's possible that the other people ended up like Sora and just wound up on other weird transient worlds.
Yeah.
So some of them that may have happened too. Kairi in particular just got kind of died. She just kind of fucking died and turned into a weird darkness self. And there was a question you had about what
organization. Why do they have powers?
Okay, as it turns out, their powers have nothing to do with being nobodies. They have no relationship to that. They just, like, Vexen was an ice scientist, and he has ice powers.
Oh.
The one who...
Really?
Who knew?
Guys.
So it's all science.
So they all had those powers even before they became nobodies.
Tragically, yes. It
What
makes...
do you mean tragic?
Well, it's tragic, because how cool is it, guys, that nobodies would have specific elemental powers that reflect a personality, just like a Zanpakuto and Bleach? That's so cool. I want to be a nobody and find out what my power would be, but now I'll never know.
If you became a nobody, you'd just be a
just become a
faggot.
fucking scientist and get special powers.
That's the thing to do. That's the thing to do.
So it ruins the fantasy of if you became a nobody, you'd have powers because you'd just be an asshole.
Well,
You just gotta work for your powers, dude. You can't just.
That's true. What we know is that these guys had these powers before they transformed. We have seen it in that happened. It's possible that they got more powers when they transformed. Unclear. Did you?
Could you possibly pick a couple of nobodies and explain why we care about them at all? Because you haven't talked about any of their stories or anything.
Okay, none of the organization members several of them are important. Okay, so in the organization, Roxas was taken under their wing as a member because they once Roxas existed as a nobody, he had the ability to use the Keyblade, and that was
to join.
They sort of found him immediately after he was born and just kind of took him under their wing.
Okay.
So yeah, well, this is actually covered in the events of 358 over 2 days. But whatever, we can just talk about that now. He made good buddies with this guy Axel. So here's a nobody that everybody likes. Axel is a nobody. He uses fire powers, and he's a weirdo assassin guy. And actually, I didn't mention this, but what was actually happening in Chain of Memories was that a faction of the organization was rebelling against other members, trying to take over. So Marluxia, who had control of Namine, was going to try to kill everyone else in the organization or something. Not really clear what his exact plan was, but he was trying to gain control of Sora to take control of the organization. And Axel was sent in as an executioner, by Xemnas, the number one, which is... So Xemnas is an anagram of Ansem. Even though his original name was Xehanort, he then stole Ansem's name, turned into a Heartless, became Ansem Seeker of Darkness, and then his nobody was Xemnas, an anagram of Ansem. Okay, so we're clear on that. And Axel, basically what you need to know about Axel is he was best friends with Roxas. And it's implied at various points that their relationship, it was hard to tell, but it seemed that Roxas had the burgeonings of a heart within him at times. He could feel things sometimes, and Axel vicariously, occasionally, felt glimmers of a heart in himself and emotions that should have been impossible. But he felt it somehow.
Gay.
And there are explanations for all these things. These are explained in the lore, why that happened, which are related to birth by sleep. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, Tom.
Is the organization the 13 dark counterpoints to the 7 princesses, or is that just a coincidence?
Interestingly, actually, as we find out in Kingdom Hearts 3, Dream Drop Distance, that was the original intention for them. That was a secret plan that we didn't even know about in Kingdom Hearts 2, but it didn't end up working that way. And I'll explain the specific significance of these two. They relate to Xehanort's larger goal beyond all this stuff, and his original goal, because Xehanort is more than he seems at first. Even, we'll get into it, all right? We'll get into it.
Are we done with 2 now?
Yeah, we're done with 2. We already talked about how that resolved. Everyone's fine, and everything. But 2 does end on a little bit of a cliffhanger, where they get a note in the mail. Kairi, Riku, and Sora are hanging out on Destiny Islands. They get a note in the mail that says, it's from King Mickey, and it says oh, there's something... I found secret information in the journal. You know the one that said thank Namine that I mentioned before? There's secret information in that, and I'm gonna figure out what that is. So come to the castle and we'll talk about it.
That letter is the last thing I ever experienced of Kingdom Hearts.
And
because I played Chain of Memories, but
Yeah.
I never played any of the other side games, and Kingdom Hearts 3 never happened.
I should have drawn. There's a great divide after Kingdom Hearts 2 where so many people lost all interest with Kingdom Hearts because they just failed to make games that anyone gave a shit about besides the most hardcore fan. Specifically, this is a problem with the game because if you'll notice, PS2, those all made sense. Well, actually, that was GBA first. But then, mobile game, DS game, DS, PSP game, 3DS game, mobile game, PS3. They're all over the fucking map. These games were not on the same consoles. People were not able to play them because they would have to buy whole new consoles. That drove off tons of people from playing more of these games, and it was a big clusterfuck. To this day, people have been waiting, I don't know, over 10 years for Kingdom Hearts 3, I believe. It's one of the most desired games, and they just won't make it. But it's finally coming. Announcements they're coming. Devu.
One of those games has PSS written over it. What console is that?
Where? This?
Yeah. What's PSS?
Oh, I think I accidentally wrote PS5 when I meant to write PS3.
Prophetic!
Whatever.
Aren't those also on those double remakes also on PS4?
They are. I debated putting them or not, but I chose not to.
Wait, so they remade Chain of Memories for PS2?
They sure did. There was a release of Chain of Memories called Chain of Memories that was packaged with Final Mix 1 of Kingdom Hearts 1, I believe. I think it just came with the game. Oh, no. Final Mix 2 came with Chain of Memories. And it was just remade as a PS2 game, and it's pretty good.
I don't see any of the final mixes on here.
They're included within these. I didn't specifically add them outside, but there are Final Mixes versions of Chain of Memories sort of counts as one. Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix is one. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix is one.
The Final Mixes for PS2 only come out in Japan?
At first, yes. I pirated them, and they are awesome. But they do exist now in the form of these 1.5 and 2.5 remixes, which is how you can play them. And these are great because these condense all these games over all these different consoles into you can just buy like a PS3 or a PS4, and you'll have access to all of them.
Can we?
What the fuck is Final Mix?
No, I don't. It's just like an HD re-release.
All you need to know is that
it's
it's a special edition with extra bosses and extra stuff. And the best game in the series, by the way, is Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus. But you can just get that by getting 2.5.
There were multiple final, like they released these games like 3 times a piece before the HD remakes.
Yeah, some of them.
Fuck.
Ben?
I am really fucking eager to get past Kingdom Hearts 2 and get into all that bullshit below it.
Yeah, those will be much faster. A lot of this stuff just spawns from that. Jeff, what's up?
I just want to point out that Kingdom Hearts 2.5 has the best bosses.
Well, that is true, because Kingdom Hearts 2 has the best bosses, and Final Mix made more, and they're great, and 2.5 is just an adaptation of that, so yeah.
The guitar guy is fucking badass.
You're talking about Demix.
I think so.
Yeah,
wait, no,
the Sitar Water guy?
Is that Sitar Water guy? Yeah. No,
okay, let's move along.
The ice guy's an asshole.
Vexen is an asshole. Okay, anyway, so 358 over 2 days. Don't need to go into that too much. That was a story.
You skipped Coded.
Oh, well, the funny thing is just that this is the release order of the games, but actually 358 addresses the events between Chain of Memories and 2. And all you need to know about that is it's pretty boring, not that good. It talks about the way the way Roxas was initiated into the organization, and we learn about an important character, actually, the 14th member of Organization 13, Xion, which is Xion, original name Number I.
That's who I was thinking of when I said Ixion.
Okay. And remember the Riku replica that we talked about before, who was made of Riku's memories? So Xion she's not actually a nobody. She is a construct made of Sora's memories, mostly of Kairi. So during the whole data transfer process that's going on, some of those memories were scooped up by the organization and were turned into Xion as sort of a backup in case Roxas died, because it's really important they have someone who can use the Keyblade. So Roxas actually ends up training Xion for a little while in order to get her to use the Keyblade. Ben?
You can just make a person out of anything in this universe.
You really
like
can.
Any
you
old
really
thing,
can.
You just like sew it. You just mix it all up in a big old pot. You got some memories. You got like a piece of leg. You just put it all in a pot, and there you go.
Interestingly,
you got a guy.
There is a couple of events in Halloween Town specifically where the guy with the brain, Dr. Brain or whatever, he throws a bunch of shit together. Like flowers and things that don't really seem that relevant, and it just kind of comes alive. And he's trying to make a heart.
What's her name?
Is who? Xion?
No, the main girl in Nightmare Before Christmas is just built by.
Oh yeah, she has a heart. Other things don't. But yeah, she's just a construct, man. I don't know. Can't explain it. Doesn't make sense.
Was that coded or 358?
We're talking about 358.
He wasn't able to make a heart. When that experiment you just described?
She was like an accident. He didn't know why she was able to form a heart. He was trying to replicate it scientifically, but there's just no understanding the mysteries of the heart, you guys. You just can't do it.
No.
And it's also evil, so don't try.
Yeah. Don't.
By the way, the name 358 over 2 days what that refers to specifically, you have to play the whole fucking game to figure out what this goddamn title means. 358 is the number of days in the game. 2 is divided by 2 because it's like Sora's memories, you guys, are divided among 2 people, Roxas and Xehanort. This is the real logic of these titles.
Why not?
And days, it took that many days, so there you go. And by the way, it was exactly 1 year between when Sora went to sleep, and Roxas was born, and when Sora wakes up. And by the way, this is 365 minus the 7 days that Roxas spends in that data town that you play at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2. So it all sort of makes sense, kind of. It doesn't matter. Xehanort is important, and by the end of that game, by the way, Xehanort is sort of recruited by Riku to have... She's told that without her memories that make her a person, Sora will never be able to come back to life. So she just willingly accepts that I need to die, but she wasn't able to kill herself for some reason, so she tricks Roxas into murdering her. And by the way, they're best friends. Xehanort, Roxas, and Axel are sort of a trio, like Kairi, Riku, and Sora. They're all best friends. She tricks Riku into killing her.
It's like they rhyme. It's like
poetry.
Different standard.
They do a lot of threes. There's a lot of threes in this game.
Except for the third game.
Yeah. Oh my god! Didn't see that one coming. Okay, so that's it. Xehanort is born and then dies, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 happens. That's all you need to know. Roxas makes friends with Axel. Okay, so going back to Coded. So Coded's the actual sequel, technically, to Kingdom Hearts 2. In Coded, all you really need to know is that there is secret data that relates to future games, such as Birth by Sleep. And it's for some reason it's in the pages of the book, which sort of makes sense, because Sora's heart, we're starting to learn, is really fucked up, and there's a lot of shit going on in there, and some of that information has just leaked into this diary somehow, which doesn't make any sense because Sora didn't even write it, and it's not data, it's just a book. But hey, here we are in Kingdom Hearts land, so it just happened. And you play that game as a virtual Sora, so that's kind of another Sora who exists.
In the book?
You play that game in a datascape. That's a data version of the book that Mickey made. So you're actually Mickey sort of playing this game.
You're Mickey playing as Sora in the datascape.
That's correct.
Okay.
But Data Sora has a heart. He's a real person who exists. Yes.
Now that is just needlessly complicated.
No, this is real. This has to happen. This is real life.
Just nonsense, Nomura.
But it doesn't matter. Nothing there matters except there's information about Birth by Sleep, and then Birth by Sleep happens. Yes.
I forgot to ask, what about that trailer in Kingdom Hearts 2 that showed like the knights and all the keyblades?
Birth by Sleep is where all questions are finally answered.
I just remembered that I had always wondered about that shit.
We will answer those questions forthwith. Did you?
So, how long is Coded in 358?
Coded was originally a mobile game and was bullshit, but was re-released years later. I think it might even have been after Birth by Sleep, and it's a fairly healthy-sized mobile game. I don't know, probably take 30 hours, something like that.
30 hours?
It's a real game. It's a fleshed-out game.
And yet all the information of worth in it is what you just summarized.
They start to stretch things real thin later on. I mean, Birth by Sleep is legit. There's a lot of information there. But a phenomenon in Birth by Sleep is that the Disney worlds start to feel more and more useless and just a waste of our time. Because we're getting into deep Kingdom Hearts lore here. Disney worlds are just a distraction that nobody cares about. Like, oh, there's a problem, let's go deal with it. Doesn't matter. But anyway, okay, let's get into what's happening in Birth by Sleep. So Birth by Sleep is you could also call it Kingdom Hearts 0. And that is a prequel, which addresses the things hinted throughout the series and in the secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 2, where we see a bunch of weirdo knights. They fight some dude with a weird old man, and they do it with a mask. And there's all these keyblades everywhere, and there's some references to the Keyblade War. And some of those questions are answered here. So, in this game, you play as 3 Keyblade warriors, Ventus, Aqua, and Terra. Sora and company are nowhere to be seen. So you play as those guys being trained by this guy, Master Arax, or Arakis, or something. And he's a Keyblade master, and he's training you to be Keyblade warriors, and that's it, in this world.
Why do they all have Keyblades?
That's the thing, they just do now. They just do now.
They just do now in the past.
In the past, that's correct. Yeah. Okay, so here's where the lore of Keyblades has totally changed, and now what it is is just there are a bunch of keyblades, and that they made them to fight darkness. That's it.
Well, I guess Riku could make his own.
Yeah, now it sort of makes sense how you could just, keyblades. Like, now it sort of is reasonable, but totally doesn't make sense with the way Kingdom Hearts 1 explained
then what's the deal with Sora getting his, like, from the universe?
Like, that's still sort of true, but doesn't matter and is never addressed anymore. He just has a keyblade like everybody else. There's more reason as to why Riku got his keyblade. It's all retcons, but there is more addressed in this prequel game. This is 10 years... No, more like 8 years, I think, before the start of Kingdom Hearts 1. Ben?
Also, I don't think you ever got into why Roxas has 2 keyblades.
That's relates to this game, and we will talk about
it.
That kind of manifests at the end of this game, so we'll get to that.
I'm sorry I keep asking all these nitpicky questions. But
These
are things
questions
I've wondered about since I gave up on the series a million years ago.
Me too, but I stuck with it and figured it out. So there's these 3 Keyblade dudes, and they're hanging out, having fun, learning about Keyblades, learning about life, and being cool. And it's time for the Mark of Mastery test, which apparently is a really important thing for Keyblade users. That means something. And
nice.
And so they've called in another official, Master Xehanort. Master Xehanort is another guy who's like a peer of Master Arax, their teacher. He's been called in to officiate and help judge who is fit to be a Keyblade Master, the Mark of Mastery exam. So, by the way, the 2 people competing for the exam, or trying to get it, are Aqua and Terra. Ventus is too young. By the way, Ventus looks exactly like Roxas. In every way, he just looks exactly like Roxas. So,
sure.
Keep that in mind. Terra and Aqua don't look like anything in particular. So as the exam happens, basically Terra fails because he's got too much darkness in his heart, and that's not good. He's gonna ruin something or kill someone or something. Aqua passes though, and Aqua becomes a master, which makes no tangible difference whatsoever, but for some reason is insisted upon as really important. I don't know. So moving along, Master Arax has forbidden everyone from leaving the world until you passed your Mark of Mastery exam. And Ventus doesn't like that. He wants to go adventure. Terra's frustrated by that too. Aqua is a good little girl who doesn't really mind. But she has passed the exam, and Master Xehanort has begun to whisper words into Terra's ear about how you need to just get out there and see the world, man. This is fucked up that he's keeping you here. Ben?
Xehanort is the one that later takes Ansem's name and becomes the villain of Kingdom Hearts 1?
Yes, but he is an old-ass man right now.
How long ago in the past is this?
About 8 years.
Wait, this whole thing with Ventus and such is 8 years before the events of Kingdom Hearts 1?
That's correct.
Wow, I thought it was like centuries.
I would have thought so too, but no.
Okay.
So what we're learning here is that there just are people out there who just train with Keyblades, even just 8 years before the start of Kingdom Hearts 1, that are just, I don't know, they're like Power Rangers that go around and do stuff. There aren't a lot of them. Like most of them are wiped out or something, so not a lot of them left. So Terra thinks it's a great idea to do what Master Xehanort tells him to do, and is just like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here. And he, because this is something they can do, he just transforms his Keyblade into a car. And then just zooms the fuck out of it. Yeah, you can do that now. You can do that now.
Yeah, hang on.
Okay. Keys operate cars. It makes perfect sense.
Makes sense. That makes sense. But he kind of
did he take his Keyblade and like mime putting it into an ignition slot and go vroom vroom in order to activate this ability?
Did he drive it up a ramp over a shark? Right.
You know what was cool though? This was actually sort of foreshadowed because in Kingdom Hearts 2, you see a guy. Well, actually, I'll just tell you. At the beginning of when he does this car transformation, before he summons this Keyblade car or whatever, he kind of summons this pair of Keyblade armor or this set of Keyblade armor, and it's immediately recognizable to everyone who played Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which was out at this time in Japan. And in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, there is the super duper ultra mega secret boss is this guy called the Lingering Will, I believe, which is Terra's armor.
It's so Dark Souls.
It is very dark. Yeah, like Kingdom Hearts is awesome at putting in like super secret mega bosses that foreshadow events way later that make no sense now but are super cool and super fun. So that's a big plus for the series. And Lingering Will in Kingdom Hearts 2, possibly the best boss fight of all time. And so in any case, during the fight in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, when you're fighting Lingering Will, which is just Terra's armor, he can do attacks where he just transforms his Keyblade into a car and just woo, and he can transform it into like guns and shoot you and turn into a whip and just fucking go ham with that thing. So these things are foreshadowed a little bit at that point. But anyway, at the beginning of Birth by Sleep, Ben.
Don't you have Terra's Keyblade?
I personally have a version of Terra's Keyblade, the Earthshaker, that I carved out of wood and made myself. It hangs on my room to this day, and it's awesome.
It's huge.
It's massive. It's massive.
It's been there forever, and it's fucking huge.
I'll get a picture of it or something.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's the coolest Keyblade ever. Actually, here's a little bit of bullshit. In that trailer, those Keyblades, in the secret super duper ending of Kingdom Hearts 2, where we saw Terra and his cool Keyblade, in addition to the boss fight, it had no keychain, and then everyone was like, what does this mean that there's no keychain? And then in Birth by Sleep, it just has a keychain. So, okay, alright. In any case, so Terra has gone off, and Aqua is ordered by Master Eric's to bring his ass back. Just bring him back, because, he's going to get into trouble. And by the way, they're also talking about this non-interference thing again from Kingdom Hearts 1. This is important again, to not fuck up the worlds. So Aqua goes off, and Terra's off, and Ventus has decided... Oh, actually, Ventus gets a visit from a weird guy who's like an apprentice of Xehanort, who we don't know the name of now. I think he says his name is Vanitas at this point. But he's wearing a helmet, so we don't know what he looks like. And, he sort of tells Ventus that, hey, you don't know what's going to happen to Terra out there. Bad things could happen to Terra. Because it's established through some horrible cutscenes that these guys are best friends. It's terrible setup, garbage, but that's what happens. That's what they are. And so Ventus also transforms his Keyblade into a fucking car and just zooms on after him. He goes out after Terra just to make sure nothing happens to him. Did you?
That moment when you notice that Ventus and Vanitas are both on the everyone is Sora.
I'm looking at the everyone is
Gave it
Sora.
away.
Oh well.
Everyone is Sora and everyone else is Xehanort.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll get to that in time.
I've been keeping close tabs on those lists.
This is where the action's at, right down here. Okay, so everyone has now fled to the worlds, and actually Birth by Sleep is divided into 3 individual campaigns for each character that you can play in any order you please, which is kind of cool, except you have to play every world 3 times, and it's a little bit boring. But in any case, it all culminates. They have a few intersection points where they meet up, and basically tension has risen incredibly high to the point where Terra kind of just hates the other guys. He's basically exactly like Riku right now.
I was gonna say
it's a massive Riku parallel.
Is it kind of like Ventus is the Sora and
yes.
Terra is the Riku?
And Aqua isn't really anybody, but she's by far the most competent and cool and reasonable and also sexual.
Is she like Kairi if Kairi was a badass?
That's exactly what she's like. Yes. Yeah, but she's real cool. She's the highest ranking best Keyblade user, so she's cool. But in any case, tension has risen. Master Xehanort keeps just fucking digging into Terra's ear, being like, "Hey, darkness is actually pretty cool. Master Eric's was afraid of how powerful you were gonna be. You should totally go full darkness. It would be awesome if you did." And so Terra's just like, "Yeah, I'll just do some darkness. No big deal." And it's like just one puff of darkness.
Yeah, he snorts it in the back.
Yeah, and. He gets some darkness powers, whatever.
Darkness, man.
And Master Xehanort's just passing that blunt laterally to everybody in class. But anyway, ultimately, things escalate massively when Terra goes back home, when he's been told by Master Xehanort has informed Terra that currently Ventus is in danger of being killed by Master Ericus, who's like the good guy who told him, light's fine. Because he doesn't really say why, but he's like, he's in danger, go help your friend. So Terra zooms back home to the, wherever the fuck they live, I forget the name of the world. And he sees, in fact, Master Ericus about to fucking murder Ventus. And the reason why that he doesn't explain is because there's some plot going on that Master Xehanort has initiated that involves Ventus being alive. And if he's alive, it could happen, and we can't let that happen, so I have to kill you, because that, it's better than all this bad shit happening. And by the way, I think at this point we learned that it was actually Master Xehanort had actually dropped off Ventus at Master Ericus's long ago. So he was kind of his apprentice first. So now there's sort of a reunion going on. But in any case, So now things get crazy, and there's a boss fight between Terra and Master Ericus, where Terra kills Master Ericus. He just balls too hard with that Keyblade, and Master Ericus just fucking dies.
He doesn't, like, become a heart in space or something?
This is one of those times where, we don't kill a lot of people, people with the Keyblade, so it's not really clear what would happen to someone, but as far as we can tell, he's just dead. There's some questions about it later. Munchie.
Speak for yourself, I kill a lot of people.
But where's your Keyblade, bro? Where's your Keyblade? Okay, so things have gone off the rails completely.
Munchie, a creature of pure light.
A creature of pure light, Munchie.
A lot of people, bro.
But for a good cause. So now, learning of this event, Terra realizes that he's a fucking idiot. And by the way, Terra's whole story has been like, he goes to every Disney World, and he hears like Maleficent say like, well, what about my desire to enslave the entire populace? And he's like, you know what, that sounds reasonable. And he does this to like every Disney villain. And then Aqua comes in and says, no, that's a bad idea. And then she sets things right. And then Ventus is just like, and then he goes, and then he leaves.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But it all comes once Master Ericus dies. That's the final kind of chapter of things, where they all learned that Master Ericus has died, and they convene at where Terra had been like meeting with Master Xehanort to get corrupted at this place called the Keyblade Graveyard. And that is a place from the famous ending of Kingdom Hearts 2, which is just full of Keyblades. And so the three put on their power armor, and they go and like, okay, we did some bad things, but we're going to set things right. We got to kill this guy. He's the bad guy. We're going to go take care of him, and it'll all be good. And by the way, there are no Heartless throughout the worlds. There's instead an enemy called the Unversed. The Unversed, which is not explained as to what it is. They're just like, the Unversed are going crazy. We got to do something about it. And that's why you initially go out to the worlds. Did you?
So after killing Master Ericus, Terra just like immediately realizes he fucked up and joins the other two? Or?
That's correct.
Okay.
He is incredibly easily manipulated by the forces of good and ill.
So they're all back together on the side of good again?
Basically, yeah.
Huh.
They put aside their differences once Terra realizes what a horrible mistake he's made. And because he killed, basically, he might actually be his literal dad. It's not quite clear.
But they're all just like, okay, I get it, extenuating circumstances.
Their thing is that, like, our friendship is the most powerful thing. Nothing could ever diminish our friendship, even though the whole game was about how fucked up it was and how it ruined everyone's life. Okay. But they eventually convene, and they go to fight Master Xehanort in the Keyblade Graveyard. And so he drops a little backstory at this point, when they're finally confronting him, where he says, the Keyblade War was fought here, did you guys know? Because there's this thing called, okay, now here's things get fully retarded. Okay. There's a thing called the Keyblade, all right? We're not talking about a Keyblade. We're talking about the Keyblade. Okay,
I'm sorry. You're gonna have to spell this one out for me a little clearer.
Can you zoom in on this? This isn't an X. This is the Greek letter key, or chi. Yeah. You can pronounce it either way.
Oh, it's the Keyblade.
It's the Keyblade. We're talking about the Keyblade. I'm serious. These words are used interchangeably from here on. It's just, we're off the rails. We're completely off the rails at this point. Oh, it's the Keyblade we're talking about. We're not talking about Keyblades. We're talking about the Keyblade, okay?
Oh, is there only one?
There is, in fact. The Keyblade's a little
There
special.
was only one, and then there became multiples, right?
you can sort of manufacture a Keyblade under specific conditions.
Is there any... Please tell me there's some functional difference between the
There is
two.
a massive functional difference, yes.
Do they look different?
They look very different, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they look very different.
The Keyblade look like key.
The Keyblade,
like you can tell if you're looking at one or the other.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I mean, the Keyblade is a massive monstrosity that's a hideous. It's like two. Sora's basic Keyblade is called the Kingdom Key. It's like two of them crossed with a sword in the middle. So it looks way different.
Okay.
It has a very special property. Like you can just fight with it.
Terra's is a giant monstrosity too.
That's true. Well, it's got two keychains that combine into one keychain. So that's different.
All right.
So there you go. I don't know, man. It just is different.
It's distinct.
So now he dumps all the lore about why everything ever happened. So there was a Keyblade War. Because turns out there's a thing called a Keyblade, not a Keyblade, but a Keyblade that you can use to directly access Kingdom Hearts. and whoever controls Kingdom Hearts controls the entire existence. All of the multiverse, all the worlds are controlled by Kingdom Hearts. So when he was a young lad, him and Ericus were, buddies. They were raised together. They became masters together. And he was really interested in learning about the secrets of darkness and the Kingdom Hearts. But his master and Ericus were like, no, don't do that, that's no good. So Xehanort pieced, and he just went to do shit on his own. And he learned about all these secrets, including that if you control this thing, you can control the whole universe. And he just really wants to know all the secrets that there are out there. And he doesn't care what it takes. He wants to just get there. And he doesn't really seem as interested in controlling as finding out what the deal is. Jeff.
So, stop me if I'm going too far here.
Okay.
You're saying science is evil.
There's a big pervading theme in Kingdom Hearts that everything that's natural is good, everything that's manufactured is very evil. So, well, for the most part, it's not always true. Like the monsters, like Sally in Nightmare Before Christmas. You know what? You know what's evil? Knowledge is evil. Because Sally was made, and we don't know how she was made. She just came into existence. She's got a heart. If you try to study anything and find out the secrets behind it, that's evil. Don't ever do it. That's wrong. Tom?
I was about to say, saying that science is evil seems like a hypocritical message to deliver through a video game.
Well, God gave us video games to print our image onto, so... Okay, but in any case, he also tells us that... So at this point, everyone kind of splits off into different fights. So there's this guy who has been working with Xehanort called Braig, who you would recognize at this point, if you'd played Kingdom Hearts 2 first, as there's the number 2 in the organization was this guy named Xigbar, and Braig is an anagram of Xigbar with an X, which we now know is how organization names for him. He's the somebody of Xigbar from Kingdom Hearts 2. And Xigbar always implied that he had a lot more knowledge than he was letting on. So everybody breaks off. Aqua goes to fight Braig. Master Xehanort fights Terra, because he's really mad that he made him kill his dad. And Ventus goes to fight Vanitas, his apprentice. Jeff.
So Braig is also Xehanort.
Well, yes, but we'll get to that. That's a meme. That's a meme that will be relevant pretty soon. In any case, what we find out is that we'll start. Things are different for everybody, but first, Ventus faces off against Vanitas, and Vanitas was wearing a helmet this whole game. And by the way, it would have been clear to most people that he's got a very familiar voice. He takes off the helmet at long last, and we see he does, in fact, have the visage of Sora from Kingdom Hearts 2. Vanitas, yes, bet. I know this is going to be confusing.
So Ventus is Roxas,
yes.
Vanitas is Sora.
That's correct.
Why?
I'll tell you why. This is explained at this time for the most part. Okay, so when Sora was born, Vanitas was an experiment created by Xehanort from Ventus's heart. So when Master Xehanort, was trying to form hearts of pure light and pure darkness. That's his goal. So what his plan is, and the reason why relates to all the stuff with the Keyblade, or the Keyblade. Because, now we can talk about the 7 and 13 thing.
Please just call it the Keyblade.
You should probably call it the Keyblade.
It's
the
a lot less
Keyblade. Okay, all right.
Or put that
Or call it the
ridiculous
Keyblade. If you fight a being of pure light against a being of pure darkness, and they're equally matched, the Keyblade just appears.
I kind of miss it being the Keyblade.
The Keyblade. Maybe I'll stick with that.
Yeah.
So if you have, equally matched pure light entity and pure dark entity, and they fight and they are evenly matched, the Keyblade just appears. It just shows up. That's one of the ways to make it happen. And so what Master Xehanort did was, Ventus was his apprentice. What he did was, he was having Ventus be trained up so that he could chop his heart in half and have a light half and a dark half.
Does Ventus have a heart of pure light?
He actually does, and I'll tell you why. Because he actually did this. Master Xehanort was training Ventus, and when he thought that he was strong enough, he took his Keyblade and he fucking cut Ventus's heart in half. He just went
like
in there.
In training?
Yes. And by the way, this totally undoes. Remember the unique function that the Keyblade of people's hearts had to manipulate hearts? Now just any Keyblade can do that. So that's cool.
I don't remember that function, but
all right.
Did you? Okay, so Ventus was one of the player characters who's one of the 3 friends.
Who looks like Sora, yes. Who looks like Roxas.
Vanitas is his apprentice?
Vanitas was the apprentice of Master Xehanort. who was following him around and was being creepy to Ventus the whole game. Yes. Munchie?
Why does anime and books and shit have gay retard names? Why not like Steve Carell and like...
because Latin is cool, dog. Because Latin is cool.
The chosen one of the Keyblades, Steve Carell. Master Xehanort sliced his heart in two and created his evil doppelganger, Owen Wilson.
Davu?
Forgive me if this has already been addressed, but does the symbol on Sora's shirt ever become relevant?
It actually does, in Drop Distance.
That is the one thing about Kingdom Hearts I already know before this lecture.
We'll get to that. Ben?
So Master Xehanort took Ventus, who was a normal guy at first.
That's correct.
And cut his heart in two.
He was a normal guy with a little bit of light and a little bit of darkness, like everybody else.
And he cut his heart in two into a light half and a dark half?
That's correct.
And the dark half became Vanitas.
The dark half just kind of manifested as a really strong entity called Vanitas.
And that looked just like Sora.
No, yes, he looked like adult Sora. That's
adult
correct.
Sora?
Well, I mean, you know, like
Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora.
Yeah, because Sora's in this game as a little baby, so it's yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what this is implying, okay, so what else happened was that Ventus's heart also sort of went into a coma. His light half did not do well in this procedure and sort of fell into a state of slumber. That's a big thing in Kingdom Hearts. But at this moment, it just so happened that there was a miraculous, well, not miraculous, but a baby was born at the moment when Ventus's heart was cleaved in twain. That heart was Sora's heart. And through the mists of time and space, there was a connection formed between these two. They were in totally different places, but a connection was formed with a newly born heart, Sora's. And it invited Ventus's heart in to take refuge until it was strong enough to you know, leave on its own. This is what happened. Oh, no, sorry.
I think I get it.
All that happened at this point was actually a connection was formed and Sora sort of like gave strength. That's what a connection formed at this point.
Just when he was born as a baby.
Yes,
he was just a new heart. At the same time, but
they have the cutting and the birthing happened at the same time, and they formed a connection that allowed Ventus to not die. That's what happened. Okay. There's more later.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a bunch of other things that happen here. So
is that the birth by sleep?
Yes.
Is that the game we're talking about now?
We are talking about birth by sleep. That's correct. Okay. Yes, but there's also more birth by sleep. There's so much more. There's so much more.
Oh my god.
Okay, so.
Every single one of these titles is just so
I love the titles.
It's multifaceted, like a jewel that just refracts different light, and no matter which way you turn it.
My definite favorite is Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a Fragmentary Passage. That's my favorite one.
Yes, there's so much meaning in Kingdom Hearts 2.
358 over 2 days is probably
That's the most fucked up.
It's probably my favorite title of anything ever.
Yeah. It's a big meme.
It's so
This series is a joke. Moving on. So at this point, we've just learned that this is the case. But now, so what we've just learned is that, you know, a heart of light and a heart of darkness, when they clash, if they're evenly matched, it creates the Keyblade, the Keyblade.
Wait, I'm sorry. I
Yes.
just got So at the moment of the cutting, from the point of view of, say, Master Xehanort,
yes,
he cuts Ventus.
Vanitas.
Ventus just disappears.
No.
And Vanitas just creates.
No. Okay. So Ventus was there. He cut into him with his Keyblade, through a beam of light. He didn't actually chop him up or anything. Yeah. And Ventus went into a coma.
Okay.
He went into a pleasure coma, while Vanitas just kind of appeared. He just kind of spawned from the heart. The darkness just became Vanitas over on the side. So now there's two guys, right?
But one of them was comatose.
Yeah, but he just got better with the help of Sora's heart. Victor!
Does this shit happen in like a cutscene or like?
Mostly cutscenes, yeah, mostly cutscenes. And a bunch of this information is kind of given out piecemeal throughout the game. There's a lot of shit happening here, dude. Okay, so now what we now know is that Ventus's heart is in fact pure light, which is something that's only supposed to be possible for the Princesses of Light. So it's like this isn't ever supposed to actually be able to happen. And we know
it's because he cut out the darkness to make a separate person.
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct. And Vanitas is pure darkness. He is a person of pure darkness, also not supposed to be possible in any case, actually. And Vanitas is such a unique case, the only one that's ever existed, that in fact, remember I said the Unversed were the bad guys instead of the Heartless? All Unversed come from Vanitas. All of them in every world throughout the multiverse. They all come from Vanitas.
He just like generates them?
He just generates them. And when you kill them, they just go back into him and he can just make more. So it's just endless. It's
so
just,
he's like a big hive mind kind of thing, or?
Kinda, yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
It's never really has any consequences narratively, other than that's where they come from. But that's what it is.
Okay.
Just a special thing about someone who's pure darkness.
And why
yes?
does Vanitas look like?
You let him continue the fucking lecture.
I'll tell you why.
I'm sorry.
We'll get to that momentarily. It's the end of this Vanitas thing, or that we learn why there's a connection there. So, okay, right. So now we see that a darkness and a light guy are about to fight, and that'll create the Keyblade. The Keyblade, and that's exactly. That is what Xehanort's plan was all along. His goal was, among other things, to do this with these guys to make the Keyblade. So if Ventus fights Vanitas, that's exactly what Master Xehanort wants. So he needs to decide if he's going to do it. Spoiler alert: he fights him anyway. He just does it. He just doesn't care. He has to fight this dude, so he does it. And the Keyblade does in fact get created. Parallel to this, while this is happening. Aqua is fighting Braig, and Braig is just basically stalling for time while this confrontation could happen between the two, so Aqua can't stop that from happening. Ultimately, he succeeds, and there's enough time for the Keyblade to be generated, and then he just runs away, and Aqua finds a turned... it's actually what she finds is a Ventus who has been possessed by Vanitas. Because as they fought each other, they re-merged into one person, and the Keyblade just kind of emerged. Is in his hand. He's got it now.
Ventus does.
That's correct. But sort of, there is a battle going on. You know how I said the dive into the heart is like Sora's heart, and that's like a place he can go to? There's a boss fight that happens between the two, within the soul of Ventus at this time, between Vanitas and Ventus. And actually, they kind of destroy the place. It gets blown the fuck up. So his heart is not in good shape right now. But he wins. He does win. So he just kind of goes into a coma.
Vanitas does.
Ventus, the good guy, wins. Yeah. While this is happening, remember, Terra is currently fighting Master Xehanort. So Master Xehanort, this was a two-part plan. The other part of the plan is that I'm an old-ass bitch. I need a new-ass body. So this whole thing was, he was trying to get Terra immersed in darkness to perform a nefarious procedure on the guy. So there's a boss fight between the two. Terra, I mean, you win, but then it's just one of those bullshit cutscenes where just the bad thing happens anyway. After you win, Master Xehanort just takes his Keyblade, stabs himself, releases his own heart, and then shoots it into Terra's body. So now, he has possessed Terra's body at this point. And he is now Xehanort. So he's got silver hair, he's a weird guy, he's just got Master Xehanort's personality, he's taken over.
Is he called Xehanort?
Well,
It's
no.
right there, dude.
Xehanort is here, but I mean...
They don't say that name in the game.
Right now, he would call himself Xehanort. Like, he's got full control.
Yeah.
But, so remember how there's a will, or there's a soul, a body, and a heart? This is the only time where something cool happens with the soul in the whole series. So the soul of Terra... Remember I said he was wearing armor? The soul of Terra emerges, takes the pieces of Terra's armor, forms them into a Keyblade warrior, takes his Keyblade back in his hand, and fucking defeats Master Xehanort in his own body. It was the most kick-ass thing that ever happened in history. It was so awesome.
So that's the lingering will?
That sort of event is lingering will. And he still exists to this day in the Keyblade graveyard.
Just as a soul.
Just as a soul, that's correct. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking sick, dog. Okay, so
he basically made a heroic sacrifice. Like, he doesn't get back to his body.
Actually, it didn't really accomplish anything to beat up Master Xehanort.
But he did. But his body's gone and he can't go back. He's just a soul in a suit of armor.
That's correct.
So he didn't kill Xehanort?
He beat him up, but he didn't kill him. Well, he gets, and Xehanort, like, the fight kind of gets interrupted, is what happens, by an explosion.
But Xehanort gets away with his body.
That's correct. Wait, hang on one second, and this fight sort of ends with the explosion generated by Aqua and King Mickey, who is sort of an ally of the Keyblade Warriors who showed up throughout this, as they defeat the outward body of a Vanitas-possessed Ventus with the Keyblade. They defeat him, it creates an explosion, and they all get thrown their separate ways. Everything goes crazy at that point. So everyone goes flying. Devu.
Do you play all these games 3 times, or you hang out on a co-wiki all the time, or do you have an incredibly photographic memory when it comes to this specific franchise?
I have played this game. You have to play each game 3 times. I've done that at least 3 times. I've played this game a lot.
So 9 times total.
Probably 9 times, about 9 times total. There are a little bit of differences. You get different boss fights sometimes, but I played them a lot. In any case, so the resolution of this is just Aqua finds Ventus's body. He's in a coma. His heart is really wounded. He's like in sleep, and he's trying to repair himself. He's trying to repair his soul a little bit at a time. So she puts him in I forget the name of the world that they're from, but the world that they're from, Master Ericus, is dead. No one lives there anymore. It's just kind of an empty shell. She takes Ventus's body, puts it in a secret passage there. She, at this point, by the way, takes Master Ericus's Keyblade and just takes it from him. You can just do that, I guess. And she transforms the entire world into a protective case for Ventus's body, which becomes Castle Oblivion. It just becomes the world of Castle Oblivion. So that's cool. And that's kind of an explanation for why there's all these crazy traps about the secrets in the castle and what's prevented there, whatever. And by the way, now's a good time to explain the connection between Ventus and Sora.
Yes.
So, at the conclusion of that battle, with the shattering of the heart of Ventus and Vanitas, because they're kind of the same guy, it was such damage was done.
I'm sorry, their hearts is shattered, and are they just dead?
Well, no. I mean, a normal person would have died.
You mean when they were cut, or when they fought each other?
When they fought each other again, and there was a big clash within their heart, and Ventus won, but had to kind of shatter just all the shit going on in there. But he did win, and Vanitas is dead, seemingly. He was so fucked up that he would have died, except that old connection he had formed with Sora when he was first born came back online. And at this point, his heart traveled along the life stream, or whatever, through into time and space, into Sora's body, who's probably like 5 at this point. He's a little kid. It enters Sora's body and becomes like a part of his heart way deep down. So Sora, what actually seems to have happened is that as Sora grew up, he's just got that heart until all the crazy things started to happen with him, like unlocking his heart and all that shit in Kingdom Hearts 1. So he has had two hearts in his body his entire life since he was like 5, and kind of since he was 1 when he made the connection. Jeff.
So when he turned himself into a Heartless, he had 3 hearts inside of his body.
That's correct. That is correct, because he had Kairi's as well.
2 of which were pure light.
I don't think he wasn't pure light anymore. He had sort of reabsorbed Vanitas into himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, his heart's real fucked up still, but maybe he should be fine by the time Kingdom Hearts 3 rolls around, hopefully.
But why does Sora look like him? Why does Sora and Roxas and Vanitas and Ventus look like each other?
Okay, now we can start to explain some of the weird things that have been happening. So the implication here is that Sora looks like Vanitas just because he has had influence from Ventus's heart.
From the splitting of the heart?
Well, just like that guy existed within Ventus now, and it just seems to have manifested in Sora as he grew up. It's never explained, but that seems to be the idea. Jeff?
Couldn't it be that Vanitas started to look like what Sora would look like when he grew up, because Sora's heart sort of completed the missing parts of Ventus's heart?
Also possible. We don't know.
Connection that formed.
Yeah, we don't know who influenced who. Who could say? But it's fun. You can speculate all you want at home, kids.
That sounds plausible.
Yeah. And Sora, Roxas rather, looks like Ventus for very simple reasons. Because when Sora split himself into a Heartless, in fact, Roxas was never a Heartless. He wasn't a Heartless at all.
Oh.
He, in fact, just had Ventus's heart inside him the whole time. So think about that. Crazy, right?
So he wasn't even a nobody?
He was never a nobody. He was never a nobody at all. He always had a heart. So all this bullshit in Kingdom Hearts 2 about how he had no emotions was just wrong.
He was just a separate heart that just manifested its own body that looked like its original body. Was Ventus still alive when Roxas formed?
Well, he was produced through the same process that would produce a nobody, but he just had a heart too. Yeah.
But was Ventus still alive when Roxas was formed?
Ventus is in fact alive, but as a heartless body, just hanging out in Castle Oblivion still to this day.
So his heart is in Roxas, which has
That's
an
correct.
identical body.
That's correct.
So Ventus is functionally
but
in
hasn't-
Roxas.
but-
There's just a left.
but
There
by the
is
end
a
of
distinction made. They are not in fact the same guy. There is a bit of a difference. Yes, did you?
But by the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, didn't Roxas get absorbed back into Sora, which means that now Ventus / Vanitas is also now back in Sora?
That's correct. That's true.
So at the time at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, all of them are in Sora.
Except
Right.
for
Not
Ventus's
Kairi.
body.
Not Kairi. Well,
and Ventus's body and soul are not within him. Yeah, Ben.
Is Namine Ventus at all?
She's probably a little bit Ventus.
Sure, why not?
And we're getting into the web of how Sora is everyone, and we'll get a little bit more into Xehanort is everyone as well, or is everyone else, really.
Okay.
Okay, what else is there to say about that? Oh, the reason Sora can use 2 Keyblades, because he's got the heart of a second Keyblade wielder in his heart, hence 2
That
Keyblades.
explains everything. It
Yeah.
actually does.
Makes perfect sense. Jeff?
So if he hadn't taken that Keyblade from Riku, he would have just had a Keyblade anyway.
At some point, probably, yeah.
That is
I would imagine so.
That is an interesting
So,
point.
we're really getting into hardcore ruining Kingdom Hearts 1 territory. It's awesome. It's really good. Hey, buddy.
This cat is ruining Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, so any other plot points to tie up? Okay, so I think if you have any other questions, feel free to shout them out, but we can move on to just the conclusion of Birth by Sleep, which is where Aqua kind of has a final mission where she is just trying to track down, she's wondering what happened. She's found Ventus and has, put his body away safely, but we don't know where the fuck Terra is. So she goes to find Terra. He is in fact at Hollow Bastion, which by the way, before it fell to the darkness, was called Radiant Garden, so he's at Radiant Garden. And she finds him there, just kind of just staring at the sky blankly. And she confronts him and is like, "Hey, Terra, what's up?" And he starts to attack her and grabs her throat. Does all kinds of fucked up shit. But then there's some resistance from Terra happening from within his body as well.
I thought Terra was taken over by Xehanort.
That's what's happening.
This is Terra's body, which does in fact still have all of Terra's body and soul within him. But some of it was left in Lingering Will. Okay. Not all of it, because Terra does still exist, at least as a heart, within his own body, which is now, we call it Xehanort, which is what people call that thing. So they have a fight, they have a big fight, and it's during that fight that we see him start to use Heartless power. So if anyone's played Kingdom Hearts 1, you'll know that Ansem used this big Come Guardian, which is the big Heartless that floated around by him. Xehanort starts to use that guy as well.
Wait, sorry.
What?
So the person you fought in Kingdom Hearts 1, was that Terra's body?
Okay, we're getting to that in just a little bit. But yes. Okay, we'll just talk about that right now. So they fight Aqua. At the end of the fight, Aqua wins, and Terra kind of just, he's like, and he falls back, and he falls into like a pool of darkness that leads to the realm of darkness. And he's falling down there. And Aqua, in just the most selfless thing you could ever do, just jumps right in after him, and in fact gives him, okay, so they're being sucked down. Darkness is like gravity, right? They're just being pulled down. They can't fucking escape this shit. So she's trying to fly out with her little, hover car thing. What she does is, she just gives Terra her armor, lets herself sink into darkness, and with the weight of only one person, he's able to escape. So Aqua just allows herself to sink into darkness for 1,000,000 fucking years, all alone. It's real depressing. It's real sad. The whole time that Sora and the gang were having a fun life, goofing around Destiny Islands, going on adventure, Aqua was just in the realm of darkness, being assaulted on all sides by Heartless all the time. So pretty dark shit. There's a little bit of a loophole that Nomura came up with because he's a genius. That time actually flows way slower in the realm of darkness, so it'll only have been like 2 years that she was there instead of like the 8 years for everybody else. So only 2 years of trauma.
Yes, we did make it like a week.
He could have made it a week. He chose to make it 2 years.
He didn't want to be too nice.
He wants her to suffer. He wants her to be punished.
At least a bit. Yeah. Or did he just want her to be aged the same?
Well, she doesn't look any different, and we've already seen what she looks like, so...
Wait, so when the fuck does Aqua turn up again?
Aqua will turn up, I mean, she has
Has she been in the previous games at all?
She will show up, her armor does show up in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which is just a reference to her existence, but she doesn't herself show up until Birth by Sleep.
She's in the trailer for 2.8, right?
She's in the trailer, yes. There is a playable section of, there's a little bit extra in the final mixed version of Birth by Sleep. There's a little extra part where you play as Aqua in the Realm of Darkness, and she's generally okay. You know, she gave her Keyblade to Terra, but she has Master Ericus's Keyblade that she still has with her, so that's getting some use, and she's able to survive. And it looks like, way down here in Kingdom Hearts 0.2, Birth by Sleep, a Fragmentary Passage, which is part of the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, there is a section where you play as Aqua leading up to the events of Kingdom Hearts 3. Munchie.
Where is Donald Duck?
Donald Duck is hanging out with Sora. They're having a great time.
I'm so happy.
Davoo.
When you say Kingdom Hearts fast enough, it sounds like Kmart's.
When I say it fast, it sounds like Kmart's. I apologize. I will work to correct that.
No, it's great. I love it. Keep it up.
Okay. And I think that brings us to basically the end of everything related to Birth by Sleep. Pete's in there. It doesn't fucking matter. Who cares? We can move on.
One final note about Pete
is that he doesn't matter. The next game release.
He makes the best level in Kingdom Hearts 2 happen.
Which one's that?
The Steamboat Willie level.
There's also time travel introduced in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which will come up later. But so the next game in the series, Kingdom Hearts 3D, aka Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. So this is a game which takes place truly and fully as basically a sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2. Coded was kind of a mean game. It was okay, wasn't that important, but 3D is pretty fucking important. So things go pretty crazy in Kingdom Hearts 3D. Demerit!
Sorry, teach.
No listening to shit in class. Okay, so remember the Mark of Mastery exam that Aqua and Terra were trying to do at the beginning of Birth by Sleep that was really important for some reason?
Yeah.
So Sora and Riku, who both have Keyblades now, are going to take the Mark of Mastery exam with their...
Because they haven't proven themselves yet.
Yeah, they haven't fucking proven themselves by saving the world like 5 times, but whatever. They're just going to do this now. So Master, what's his name? Yen Sid, the guy from the Sorcerer's Apprentice, is going to train them, is going to give them the exam, and their exam is to go into the realm of sleep and to, I don't know, like find some shit. Like they're just sent there to go deal with problems. Like there's these things called nightmares that are fucking up sleep. Go fix it, Ben.
Did we ever clarify what the Birth by Sleep was?
The Birth by Sleep refers to a few things. It refers to the way Ventus and Vanitas, or Vanitas specifically, was birthed by Ventus' sleep. It refers to how in the end Ventus was put to sleep, and how Sora was kind of born. Sora as he exists now was born from Ventus' sleep and putting his soul into Sora's body. So, there's a couple things that it relates to.
Okay.
Okay, Dream Drop Distance, right. So they're sent into dreams. They're sent to the world of dreams to go take their mastery exam. That's it. They're just there to take an exam. And they go there, and there's these things called Dream Eaters, which are they're kind of like nice Heartless. Like there's no Heartless in this dream world that Yen Sid sends them into.
Who's he sending into the dream world?
He is sending Sora and Riku to take their Mark of Mastery exam into the realm of sleep.
Okay.
That's what he's doing. Just as an exam. That's all.
To become Keyblade Masters.
That's correct. Okay. To become Keyblade Masters. And when they get there, a strange figure starts to appear, and eventually we see his face. They're just going through. They're just solving problems. They meet the kids from The World Ends With You. That's pretty cool. And eventually they see a strange figure who looks like a young Xehanort. He looks like a young Ansem, really, or a young Terranort. And so they see him, and he's just doing weird shit. He's making nightmares appear. He's fucking things up. He's causing all kinds of problems. And basically, none of the events matter until we get to the end, when it turns out that what had happened was... Oh, and by the way, in this dream world, Sora kind of got a new costume and looks younger, which actually does matter, because Sora has a big X across his chest, and this is what Davoo was talking about. So the forces of ill, the remnants of the organization, which do exist because they came back because, it turns out, and this was actually the entire point of Coded, now that I think about it, to find out the fact that when you kill a Heartless and then you kill the Nobody, the dude comes back. That was like the whole point of Coded, to find that out. So knowing that, we know that we killed Ansem Seeker of Darkness, and then we killed Xemnas, that means that Xehanort is back in some form or another. So he's out there. He's out there doing something. And so this game is to take the Mark of Mastery exam in preparation for the big fight that they will have to wage against him. Yensid wants Sora and Riku prepared for that, so they take the exam to get strong. So during the exam, basically this young Xehanort appears to them and starts fucking shit up. And right, what I was saying about Sora's costume is he's got an X across his chest, which somehow, in a way that doesn't make any sense to me, that X on his chest is like a marker that lets them track where he goes.
Why doesn't he just take it off?
Because he didn't know. He didn't know that that was a thing. Like when he entered the realm of sleep, it just got put on him. They did it somehow.
Okay.
I don't know how, but that's what they did.
Wait, who's they? The organization?
The forces of that Xehanort, who has been restored, are controlling. Like the remnants of the organization. Because a bunch of them have been revived now, so they're out there. Yes, Devote.
Lightning Fast VCR repair shirt is actually a tracking system. Trying to make sure that
anyone
who tries to expose the
Mike and Jay are going to come for me. They know I'm here. The only thing that matters about the Dream Drop Distance is that you eventually find out that what is happening at the end is that they are attempting to form. Okay, and now we're going to talk about the 7 and 13 thing. Okay, so there was a prophecy. All right, there was a prophecy that 7 lights and 13 darknesses would clash, and when they do, the Keyblade would be formed. Now this hasn't been tested yet, but Master Xehanort's new plan, because this whole thing with the dude of pure light and the dude of pure dark, he's trying to make that Keyblade. He's all about that Keyblade, right?
Yeah.
So the Organization 13, we now have hardcore retcon to now be about making 13 darknesses under Xehanort's control to act as the 13 just forces of darkness to oppose the 7 light guys, and when 13 and 7 fight, it just makes a Keyblade.
Wait,
what?
Who are the 7 and the 13?
Okay, there was just a prophecy that 13 darknesses and 7 lights, when they fight, it'll make the Keyblade. That's it.
I thought you just had to get one light and one darkness.
Okay, that's true, but it's really hard to make. That would take years. That would take a lot of years, and it's way easier apparently to just get 13 relatively dark guys and 7 relatively light dudes. Pure. And I think they all have to be Keyblade wielders. Not sure about that. Devu, you're.
Is there any connection, any coincidence to the fact that 7 and 13 are respectively the most critically praised and critically panned Final Fantasy games?
Oh my god! Okay, yes, that's confirmed by me just now. Okay, so we now learned that sort of the point of Organization 13 was actually just to make 13 dudes. Okay, but there is a special condition to the 13 guys. The 7 lights can apparently be anybody. It doesn't actually refer to specifically the Princess of Light or anything like that. These are just 7 other lights. And I think they all have to be Keyblade wielders. Pretty sure about that. The 13 guys don't have to be Keyblade wielders, but apparently they all have to be the same guy. Okay, so are you following me here? Because they all have to be the same guy.
Oh God.
All right, this is canon. They have to be the same guy.
Wait, who has to be the same guy?
The 13 darknesses all have to be the same. Jeff, yes.
So is this where the time travel becomes important?
That's correct. Time travel is now super important. Now time travel is introduced.
Of all the worst
Who says he has to be the
fiction.
same guy?
I mean, that's what he's doing. So because he says he has to do it, so I'm just taking him at his word.
Okay, he knows best.
He knows best, man.
Right.
He knows best.
He's no fool.
Yeah, that's right. He's a science guy. He knows
this
what's
is why
going
we
on.
needed so many fucking Xehanorts.
Yeah, that's right. So this is where it all kind of makes sense. There's really no reason for all these Soras, but these Xehanorts are totally important. It all had a purpose, Jeff.
Are there enough Soras that all of the Soras could fight all of the Xehanorts?
Several of them have died. But, they could probably put together 7 Soras without too much trouble.
Yeah.
Just come chop that guy up, Devu.
How many Soras does it take to screw in a Xehanort?
How many? That's all he's got, folks.
7.
Demerit!
7.
Yeah, 7. There you go. Okay. So, how we feeling, everybody?
I'm feeling
Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go.
Okay.
Totally forgot about that.
Me too. It's been like an hour. Okay, we're getting close to the end though. So, okay. The way his plan that is executed mostly in Dream Drop Distance Actually, his plan is to he's creating 13 of himself. And there are some retarded bullshit time travel rules in Kingdom Hearts that don't make any sense, but nonetheless they're there. And it's that you can time travel, but there has to be a version of you at the place you end up in the future. And I think this was all a massive retcon to fix the fact that Xehanort's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, which is the Heartless of Terranort, who is a fusion of Terra and Xehanort, his first appearance was as a weird, shapeless bag man at the very beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1. And what this has done is, like, in this game, like 8 fucking games later, they explain why he was a gross-looking bag dude, because only your heart can travel, and there has to be a body there waiting for you. So that was like just his heart at the time, traveling through time. So now we're getting into time travel retcons all over the place. So
great.
Yeah, I know, it's awesome, right? This is where the Kingdom Hearts series is totally crippled by just like that other stuff I could handle. This is too much even for me. Only now have I finally been broken. And my brilliance has begun to emerge at last. So his plan is to get a couple of clones of himself. But time travel is Xehanort's plan. Okay, all of this is Xehanort's got an evil plan to make the Keyblade and to control Kingdom Hearts and therefore control the universe and shit. So and the way he's doing that is to make 13 of himself and get 7 light guys to fight against. So his plan does not only consist of time travel, okay? He has many other ways to make more of himself. So all this terrible writing that Nomura had produced turns out it was all on purpose. He was just pretending to be retarded. So via various time travel ways, he's able to gather, let's see, there's Old Man Xehanort was there. Terranort was there. Apprentice Xehanort, actually in Terranort were the same guy. Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, aka Heartless Xehanort was there. Xemnas, nobody of Xehanort was there. Yes.
Again, was Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, was that Terranort?
That is the Heartless of Terranort. Seeker of Darkness. So the villain of Kingdom Hearts 1.
So he looked like Terra, but it was not actually Terra's body, it was just his Heartless.
Correct. Okay. But the heart kind of takes its shape based on what he used to look like.
Yeah.
Actually, as one totally... the only Heartless who looks like a dude ever is Ansem, Seeker of Darkness.
Yeah.
And the theory is that that's because he released his own heart, and it's like nobody rules. Who knows? We have no idea. Okay, the point is, he's summoning Xehanorts from all throughout time and space. As we can see, there's a lot of them to choose from. But the one big kicker of this plan is that he wants the final, most special one of all. He wants Sora to be a Xehanort. So here's where the two combine. Here's where we combine the two into one thing. Okay, it does make a little bit of sense, okay?
Alright.
In Birth by Sleep, remember that guy Braig, who was the number 2 of the organization, Xigbar, who got,
What elements
he has actually the element of space. So he like teleports around and like shoots things and weird, he can walk on the ceiling, it's just...
Does he have the lances?
No, you're thinking of Zaldin, the wind guy.
Okay.
He has guns, he uses these guns and shoots spikes. Okay. Very fun boss fight, like him a lot. But, so that guy, okay, at one point in the game, and another important thing to know, yellow eyes are big associated with darkness and being evil and stuff in Kingdom Hearts. That's a consistent thing. All Heartless seem to have yellow eyes, and all the bad guys generally have yellow eyes. So when we see Braig for the first time in Birth by Sleep, he just looks like a normal dude with brown eyes. Later on in that game, he has a weird scar, and his hair has changed. Well, actually, Terra gives him the scar, but his hair has changed, and his eyes have become yellow, and he's got pointy ears now. And by the way, Master Xehanort has pointy ears, and has yellow eyes, and has gray hair. So, Braig has started to look a little bit more like Master Xehanort. And in Dream Drop Distance, we get the incredible, one of the best lines of the series, when he pulls off he just looks at the camera and just says, "I'm already half Xehanort." So, like, there's just this other plan to just turn people into Xehanorts, in addition to splitting himself into other Xehanorts. So, we know that Xigbar, aka Braig, is one of the Xehanorts that they're using for this plan. Also,
how?
Yeah, why?
I don't know. They didn't go into it
yet.
What
the fuck?
I don't know.
He can just do it. He can just turn people into himself.
I mean, he can. We already saw him possess other people's bodies. I don't know, dude.
Well, I mean,
this is the first time this has happened.
There's no actual rule.
Riku was possessed in Kingdom Hearts 1. That it's
like,
kind of
but out of nowhere.
He could use Xigbar as one of the 13 darknesses. They don't have to be the same.
I think they do have to be the same dude. Like,
okay,
why else would he do this?
That's a sticking point for me. But like, I'll just go with it. All right.
Jeff had his hand up. Yes.
Is Riku a Horcrux?
Riku is. I think he is a Horcrux up until the end of Chain of Memories, where he has severed the ties between him and that other dude. Divu had his hand up.
Would you like me to refill your water?
I would love that. Thank you so much. Oh God, that's the best. You get homework. Extra homework. Yeah. What every kid wants. Munchie.
Where is Goofy?
Goofy's hanging out with Sora, having a great time. Yeah. Okay, so actually they're kind of just watching over Sora and Riku's comatose bodies as they're taking this exam. Because this is all in the dream world, remember? This is all happening, this is all in the dream world.
What do you mean it's all in the
it is
dream
real.
world?
Okay, there's a lot of shit that happens in Kingdom Hearts where they go into like a data world, but it's like basically the same thing as the real world. Because like there's different
what's the difference
worlds
between data and real?
We already know that you can travel between worlds in Kingdom Hearts, right? So you can just you can make a virtual world that functions very similarly to just another world in the universe, in the multiverse.
And you can just physically go there?
If you have the right equipment, yeah. What's up?
Is that just an excuse so they can like re-meet Aladdin and he doesn't know who they are because it's a different world? Or does Aladdin always remember them?
In the game, well, yeah, like in Chain of Memories, they visit every single world from Kingdom Hearts 1 and no one remembers them and they get to just retread old territory. So yes, in some cases, absolutely. Thank you, Divu.
All right, so how is he gonna make Sora a Xehanort?
Oh, okay, and
how is Sora supposed to become a Xemnas or a Xehanort?
I guess through the same process that Braig went through, whatever that was. And also, there's this other guy, Issa, who is Saix, who also, by the way, was best friends with Axel when they were kids, and they grew up together, and they joined the organization together. So there's like some drama between the two that's actually kind of interesting. We don't really know what's going on with them yet. But Saix is also half Xehanort, or part Xehanort. So he's like another one that's going to be a Xehanort. But don't know what that means, but that's what it is. Munchie.
So in DDD, you go to Aladdin Place, right?
Yeah, you go to Aladdin's in like every one.
Okay, dude, Jasmine's so hot.
Extra homework for you, my friend. Okay, okay, so Sora does in fact fuck up real bad and gets captured by the bad guys and is going to be turned into one of the 13 through some process that we do not know. And then Riku is sent on a secret mission.
Is it the same process by which Muslim ghosts might have turned the dog gay?
I like to think so.
Yeah.
So Sora has been captured by all the bad guys, and right, that's happening. And by the way, at this point, we see all the 13 seats are filled. All the guys we know and love from this list of Xehanorts show up there. But there's one mysterious one who's like the biggest one of all. We don't know who the fuck that is. But other than that, there's like young Xehanort, old Xehanort, everyone on the list. They're all there. But
Data Riku?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I was just for fun listing everyone who is Xehanort, and, you know, he's included in that list. Data Riku, everyone, that's the thing, everyone tied to Riku is part Sora. And in fact, through this process, all of Sora's almost all became Xehanorts. Real close. Real close for this all just being everyone was the same guy. We barely missed it.
My backpack's gonna die in a second.
Okay, we'll take a pause.
There's just two things that aren't each other, and that's what light and dark are.
That's pretty much it. So Sora is about to be turned into a Xehanort through a mysterious process, and it is at this point that Riku has completed his exam. Riku wasn't dealing with a lot of the same shit that Sora was. They were kind of on two separate paths going through the realm of sleep. And Riku has woken up and is like, hey, I completed my exam. And then Yen Sid, in a really bitch move, is like, Riku, I know you completed your exam, but I'm going to give you an extra bit you have to do. I'm going to give you extra homework. You have to go rescue Sora as part of your exam. He just adds fucking criteria to this fucking exam. There's no rules. It's totally bullshit.
Free-for-all.
It's a free-for-all. It's not cool. But in any case, Riku infiltrates that shit, successfully defeats young Xehanort, was kind of the guy who was controlling the whole time travel operation. Defeats him. Xehanort's current plan to assemble 13 darknesses right now gets fucked up, and they all kind of just go back to their timelines individually. and Sora is
their
rescued.
own will, or just like
okay, there's like a weird combination of like prophecy and like people initiating time travel. Like this is very much the solid block time travel thing, where like you can't control time travel. It like just happened, and things just didn't work out the way they wanted, so it just went back to the way it was. Everyone just left because they didn't reach the criteria to make the 13 union happen or whatever. So he's just gonna try again later, hopefully in a way that doesn't involve fucking time travel. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in Kingdom Hearts 3 probably.
Why would some of those guys go back to their timelines?
Well, a bunch of them
where they fucking lose.
Well, they have no choice. Lose. They have no choice. Because remember I said time travel is really finicky in Kingdom Hearts.
So if they failed this, they just automatically go back, like no matter what.
That's correct. That's correct. This was all to make this one thing happen, and it didn't happen, so they all went back. Yeah, it was like a weird prophecy thing. It was totally bullshit. Yeah. But in the end, so they win. They leave the realm of sleep. I don't think that'll ever be addressed again. It's totally not important to the series as a whole. But
and this was Dream Drop Distance?
That's correct. This was all the events of Dream Drop Distance.
All right.
So,
thank God it's all behind us.
having finished their exams, they both technically did finish their exams. Riku and Sora both face Yen Sid, and Yen Sid says, Sora, pretty good job. Not good enough to be a Keyblade Master. Riku, you went above and beyond. You have completed everything I told you to do, so you are a Keyblade Master now. And that's cool. And by the way, so he is a Keyblade Master. We have no idea what that means, but he is one now. And incidentally, Axel was one of the people who was revived when his Heartless apparently had died. His Nobody got killed in Kingdom Hearts 2. He has revived and he has shown up again, and he's here helping Sora and Riku. He's on Roxas' team, Sora's team. Oh, by the way, he has a Keyblade now. He just got it. He just got a Keyblade.
Why not?
Why not? Everyone's got a Keyblade. But you know what's funny? You know what's real great? In the scene where, this is where things get really infuriating. Because at the end of the scene...
Is Axel's Keyblade on fire?
It's red.
Fair enough.
It's pretty fiery.
Okay.
So Axel just stands there, all right, at the end of this game, as everyone's like, yeah, we did it. And Axel says, oh, his name's Lee now. It's L-E-A, whatever. Because no X. So he's like, oh, how do I... Man, I wish I could just... And then boom, Keyblade just appears in his hand. He just gets it. There's no explanation for why it's there. And all the characters are like, well, how unexpected. No one thought that this Keyblade bullshit would ever happen. Oh, it's infuriating. Ben.
Why did Kairi have a Keyblade?
Okay, I can explain that actually. First, Jeff's question first.
No, I kept asking, but there was no answer.
I will answer.
No answer.
I will answer that.
So are Nobodies what happened? Like the organization Nobodies, what happens when somebody who has the potential to wield a Keyblade becomes a nobody?
Well, potential to wield a Keyblade is worthless now, and anyone can do it. But what it really is it's if you had a strong heart, is what they say is the reason. If you had a strong heart, a really, really strong one, then you retain your form when you turn to a nobody.
Which is also how you wield a Keyblade, is you have a really strong heart.
That seems to be the case, so yes.
So, okay.
But that wasn't originally. In Kingdom Hearts 2, that wasn't the reason.
But in Kingdom Hearts 1, that was the reason.
It was the reason in Kingdom Hearts 1. So to answer Ben's question, why did Kairi get a goddamn Keyblade? Okay, same reason why Riku got a Keyblade in the first place. And the same reason why Sora can dual wield. So during the events of Birth by Sleep, one of the things that happens is that all three of the dudes, Ventus, Aqua, and Terra, take a trip to Destiny Islands. And they visit Lil Baby, Riku, and Sora. Kairi doesn't live there yet. She doesn't move there until she's a little older. And while there, Aqua meets... They all meet, Individually, Aqua meets Riku and Sora, and individually, Terra meets Sora and Riku. And Terra sees in Riku a strong heart and a potential to use the Keyblade. So Terra, I assume thinking that his life won't last much longer, because God knows it didn't.
Is this when he flew off in his Keyblade car?
This is just during his travels throughout the worlds after he left. Okay, you're thinking about the Land of Promise, which is where he's from, that he left after being like, fuck you guys, I'm going to go adventure. And then he went and did that.
It's called the Land of Promise?
Yeah, I remember the name just now. It's called the Land of Promise. Destiny Islands is a totally different world.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
So, but this is when he flew off in his Keyblade car. One of the places he went was Destiny Islands.
Yes, but that quote-unquote flying out through the rest of the world, like that is all the events of Birth by Sleep. So just one of the worlds that he does in that is the Destiny Islands. So he sees that Terra sees that Riku has the potential to use a Keyblade, so he just, boom, touches him with a Keyblade, bam. You get my Keyblade when I die. That's it. He just gives him, you get my Keyblade when I fucking die. That's what he does. And Aqua meets Kairi, who lived in Radiant Garden a while, at another point, and gives her like a weird charm. She like, it's unclear if it's like the same thing as what Terra did to Riku, but she gives her like a magic charm, like this little gem she has on her chest, and presumably that lets her use the Keyblade. Very unclear.
But why did Riku... Okay, so Riku didn't manifest his own Keyblade. He was manifesting Terra's Keyblade.
He gained the ability to use the Keyblade because Terra gave it to him, but he got a different Keyblade because Terra's Keyblade is still somewhere else.
And why did Riku have to give Kairi her Keyblade?
Coincidentally,
Oh my God.
coincidentally, Aqua's Keyblade. Okay, so remember how I said when Terra was sinking into darkness, Aqua saved Xehanort by giving him her Keyblade. Whatever, it saved him. So Xehanort was found with Aqua's Keyblade. Through their adventures, Riku also chanced upon that same Keyblade, Aqua's Keyblade, which Kairi had the ability to use,
So
and later gave it to Kairi. Though he didn't know that it was Aqua's Keyblade or that Kairi could use it. That was coincidence.
He just handed it to her because he thought it would be a cool thing to do, and it just so happened that she had been given this charm. And
That's it.
Okay. All right.
It's the Destiny Islands. That's where destiny happens.
Yeah.
So she's sort of wielding Aqua's Keyblade power, and he found the Keyblade and gave it to her.
That's correct.
Even though he didn't know that she should be able to use it. Okay.
So,
Yep, Jeff.
My question is the Keyblade that the universe chose Riku to use, the one that he got from Terra, or is that a different one? And which one of them is the one that Sora steals?
The waters are totally muddied by this inconsistent, fucking lore in between Kingdom Hearts 1 and pretty much just the rest of the series.
All right, we gotta get through the rest of this because we gotta pick up Jesse in like 20 minutes.
Okay, good point. Let's get to it. So Dream Drop Distance ends, and did I explain that? Did I finish explaining that?
Yeah.
Are we done?
I don't know. How did it end?
Yes. Terra gives Riku the ability to use the Keyblade, whatever,
yeah.
and Aqua gives it to Kairi. We're done with Dream Drop Distance. Okay, Unchained X. Or it's Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts X, whatever. That was originally a mobile game. It was originally a PC game. Now it's a mobile game. I play it pretty good, not too bad. It's a shitty mobile game that you dump money into, and it's basically what it talks about. It is the events leading up to the Keyblade War that has never been addressed anywhere else. Like Master Xehanort talked about, they were fighting over who was going to get the the Keyblade. And this is like there's some important dudes leading different Keyblade factions that are eventually going to fight. Jeff.
So the actual title of that is Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key.
That's correct. Unchained Key.
I see.
How interesting.
Is there an Unchained Key or key?
No, that's just an Unchained Key.
Okay. Anyway, so Kingdom Hearts 0.2. Back cover, and...
But you skip Birth by Sleep and Fragmentary Passage.
Well, I'm talking about those all together right now. Just so you know, these games are not out yet. But we know basically what they consist of. So, 0.2, key, back cover, and also a PS3 and PS4 remake of Dream Drop Distance are all going to be released in the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. Finally, what should be the last release before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, you say that, but there's a whole point. There's a whole decimal point in between 2.8 and
3.9.
We could fit so much in between those two.
We can split this to infinity.
And I wonder myself all the time why he has chosen 2.8 and 0.2 as the specific number values.
Because they add up to get
but why not 0.9 and 1.1?
0.2
depends on how much is in
I think he's just being like, guys, we're so close. We're so close to 3 right now. We're almost there. Just 0.2 away. Jeff.
So are the numbered Kingdom Hearts the only ones that an actual Kingdom Hearts show up in?
I think actually that's true. No, Birth by Sleep, which you could call it Kingdom Hearts 0 though, and it does show up in that too. In fact, only the real Kingdom Hearts ever shows up in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. That's the only time that the real one
What about
is
one?
visible.
Don't they see?
I mean, there's like, you see mysterious things through a door, kind of. You can't really see it. You just, it's the implication that it's affecting things. Okay, let's wrap this thing up though. So, important thing to know about all of this is that this is just, Nomura has gone out of his way to say, this is just the Xehanort Saga of Kingdom Hearts. And once Kingdom Hearts 3 happens, that is the conclusion to the Xehanort Saga, and will continue the adventures of Sora outside. He will always be the protagonist. Xehanort will be done, and we'll start this whole thing over again
Into the
with
Keyblade
something
War.
else. Into who the fuck knows what's going to happen.
After 3.
After 3. That, well, hey, maybe before. He could do a prequel. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen? But, yeah, I mean,
Xehanort Saga.
the Xehanort, this is all the Xehanort Saga, all this up to 3. That's what all this was for.
Jesus.
And by the way, just so you know, back cover is like, it's sort of like a movie that expands upon what happens in the Unchained Key, which is just like the events leading up to the Keyblade War. It's like a movie about that. And then 0.2, Fragmentary Passage, is a little Aqua side story that's like a little mini game where you go and you do some stuff in the Realm of Darkness leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3. And in Kingdom Hearts 3, we will need to see resolutions too. Oh, and by the way, a big thing that's been said leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3 is that Sora will save everyone. He is going to save everyone who has felt pain, who has been hurt. So we're talking about Roxas. We're talking about Namine. We're talking about Data Sora. We're talking about Riku Replica. We're talking about every single person in this fucking list. They're all going to be saved in some way or another. It's really unclear what that means. Like, how could Roxas and Sora exist at the same time? I don't know. In fact, it was perfectly explained at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2.
That's the least of our concerns at this point.
It's very. There's a lot of shit. I don't know how it's gonna work.
I want to know about those 13 guys that didn't come back.
Yes.
I want them to come back because some of them.
Oh, you're talking about all the 13 Darknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the Organization 13s, the ones that didn't get resurrected yet.
I don't think Nomura really gives a shit about like Marluxia or Luxord or all the ones he didn't like. He has shown what every because all the organization core members were the apprentices of Ansem the Wise originally. They have all been shown to be alive. We have not seen like a bunch of the other numbers that are up higher, like Larzine. I don't know what the fuck's happened to Larzine. She's probably alive. Because why would you throw away a perfectly good character design? There's just no reason. You could just recycle her. But everything left is speculation about what we're going to see in Kingdom Hearts 3. And now you're ready to go. Oh, questions. Okay, there they go. Jeff.
How much money do you think Tetsuya Nomura has saved on character design over the course of all these games?
He has saved time and money by reusing the same characters over and over and over again.
It's elegant. It's simple and elegant.
Rhymes,
it's simple and clean.
It is simple and clean. Digi.
How many of these are worth playing?
The only ones worth playing. Okay. If you care about the story, stop right there. Don't do that.
We're only in this for the Disney.
Some of these are legitimately fun. Okay, Kingdom Hearts 1, absolutely worth playing. Story's actually pretty good. Play that game. Chain of Memories, don't play the Re-Chain of Memories, has pretty fun card combat, kind of a gimmick. I liked it a lot. Kingdom Hearts 2, Final Mix Plus, best game ever made. Everyone play that game. Story starts to get completely ridiculous, but still manages to pull out a really solid narrative out of it. Coded, skip it. 358, totally skip it. Birth by Sleep, if you care about the story, play it. Otherwise, don't. Not that good. Dream Drop Distance, totally skip it. Key, it's a shit game. Don't play it. This 2.8 might be cool. I'll let you know after I play it. So play 1, 2. Isn't that funny? The good ones are 1 and 2. What do you know?
What about Chain of Memories?
I do like Chain of Memories, but like it's really repetitive, and the card game battle doesn't really justify the long ass runtime of the repetitive levels. Munchie has his hand up first. Munchie?
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Mickey Mouse?
Mickey Mouse shows up for one scene in Kingdom Hearts 1 and then becomes a weird goth Mickey Mouse who just shows up every once in a while.
He's Yoda or something.
Yeah, he's pretty much Yoda.
Now,
And your other?
My second question. Why is Kingdom Hearts so good, so hard, so sad?
Kingdom Hearts is really good because, Kingdom Hearts 1 started us off with a great, humble little story about a kid just growing up and having adventures and getting over real drama with his friends that every 13-year-old in the world could ever relate to. After that, it really got bogged down in excessive details, and Nomura really went off the rails in unhealthy ways that only diminished the quality and had lesser returns on investment for the shit he tried to come up with. Time travel, what was he thinking? Big mistake. And he, it's a good series. Not the best series. It's pretty good. I like it. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Did you?
So, Birth by Sleep is not worth playing, even if I just want to play the waifu route. Is Aqua cute?
Aqua is the cutest girl in the series by far, and I love her.
So is it worth playing if I
really
just play the Aqua route?
It's boring. That game is boring.
You have to play it 3 times.
Okay, all right. If you play it just once as only Aqua, you might enjoy it.
Okay.
Play the new one for 2.5. Jeff, yeah.
So when does everybody become ghosts and go to Shibuya Scramble?
That's right around here.
Yeah, didn't you say there was a crossover with Twilly?
He mentioned it.
What happens there?
I'll tell you real quick.
Wait,
in Dream Drop Distance, so Traverse Town, which is a world from Kingdom Hearts 1, the dream world, at least in the dream world, possibly the real world as well. There's just another half of that town you never visited in Kingdom Hearts 1, which is covered in graffiti and cool guy shit. And that's just where Neku and the guys hang out.
So Traverse Town is just on the other side of Shibuya.
Yeah, that's right. That's canon. Japan is real, and it is.
Japan is canon to Kingdom Hearts.
The connections are there.
All right.
Any final questions?
Is there anything you haven't read off of that? What's that Sora whatever at the bottom?
Oh yeah, what is that part with 100% darkness equals what universe?
What are you talking about?
Below all the.
Oh, this.
Yeah, and also right above that, the key with the heart.
That's the Unversed.
These are. Yeah, I'll tell you. This is just this is a heart with 100% darkness equals Unversed. So we're just talking about Vanitas. This is the logo for Unversed. Okay. And these are just diagrams that show that shit. And
what about the key in the heart?
This was simply to illustrate 7 lights, 13 darknesses produce the Keyblade.
Yeah.
What about we're under end of Xehanort Saga? What does that say?
Where here?
Yeah.
Sora constant MC.
Because
he will always be the main character. Tetsuya Nomura has been very explicit that Sora will always be the main character.
What about in Birth by Sleep? What about Birth by Sleep?
Well, that was all to get to the point of why Sora is the best MC. We had to do some backstory to get to that point, but now we're there.
All right, fair enough. When's Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out?
A year or 2. I would give it at least 2 years, maybe 3. Final Fantasy 15 is done, and Tetsuya Nomura was taken off of Versus 13, which turned into 15, in order to work on Kingdom Hearts 3. And he wrapped up his whole project recently has been condensing all these shitty games on various platforms into versions that people could digest and catch up. He doesn't realize, I think, that people just don't care anymore. Nobody gives a shit about any of this except for guys like me. And 2.8 is just the final lead up to it, and then we'll get 3. I would give it 2 years. I'm gonna give it 2 years until we get Kingdom Hearts 3.
And what will be in Kingdom Hearts 3?
Kingdom Hearts 3 will consist of Sora saving everyone from all the characters that have been established as Aqua has to be rescued from the realm of darkness.
Yeah.
Ventus is still unconscious in Castle Oblivion, has to be revived in some way.
Doesn't Sora live in, or doesn't he live in Sora's heart?
Yes, but the implication was that he is resting there until he is healthy enough to go back to his body, and I'm sure that'll happen at some point.
Okay.
And then that Munchie?
Final question: how much cum is in this series?
Come on now, Munchie. Hey! All right, we're done. Thanks for listening, everybody. Oh, wait, Jeff had a question. Yes?
Yeah, how is everybody feeling?
Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.